Hello, Durud and Shalom. Guys, a lot of people think Charlie Kirk was racist, and I cannot believe how far away from reality all of this is. It's absolute insanity. And I know a lot of you in the chat also think that he was a racist. And I just want you to keep an open mind today. And I'm willing to accept if I'm wrong. I will listen to you guys in the chat as long as you also keep an open mind. I will keep an open mind. I want you to keep an open mind as well. And I mean, honestly, the more I research this man, the more I realize how unfair all these accusations have been. And they have been there for a long time. And I also feel embarrassed that I used to believe these things and only now I'm looking into it. So I assume that some of them at least are true without even checking, which is really embarrassing. And I'm ashamed to admit that. And now that I'm looking into the guy, I'm realizing that he was actually one of the most not only was he not racist, he was fighting racism. He was one of the most effective people in fighting racism that I know. Oh wow, we got a super chat. Thank you so much, Ramin. Thank you, Ramin. Ramin just gave us a super chat, a big super chat. Thank you. We usually don't get big super chats like this on this channel. So I really appreciate that, Ramin. Thank you so much for supporting the chat. By the way, guys, if we reach to our goal for today is to reach 10 super chats, and we already got one. So thank you so much for that. Moral Wombat is saying he was one of the least racist people I've ever heard speak. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and also further than that, he was fighting racism. Imagine somebody who was so effective at fighting racism being accused of being a white supremacist. It's it's one of the most unfair accusations I've seen against a man. Like I really feel bad for how unfair. And I can see he was also frustrated about all the unfair accusations against him as well. I could see sometimes in his voice. And I feel bad that people like me were not there to defend him when he was still around and only now we're trying to make up for it. Oh, Roman is saying absolutely, man. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Well, thank you so much, Roman. That gives me a lot of energy. Thank you. Anyways, let me see who's in the chat. I'm going to show you guys a lot of videos. We're going to go through. This is going to be the most complete video on Charlie Kirk and racism, whether he was racist or not. I'm going to basically go over everything. You're not going to see a more complete analysis than, and I know because I've checked, you're not going to see any more complete analysis than what you're going to see here. So let's actually look at some of the accusations first before we, and how serious the accusations are before we actually address them. So let's watch this.
Yeah. I'll say, can I just say something? I don't agree he was a Cicero for the TikTok age. I believe he was a David Duke for the TikTok age. And I have.
So you guys are hear this, right? This guy, he's saying that Charlie Kirk is the David Duke of the TikTok age. He's basically calling him a white supremacist. Watch this.
Yeah. I'll say, can I just say something? I don't agree he was a Cicero for the TikTok age. I believe he was a David Duke for the TikTok age. And I have some degree.
Can you just remind us who David Duke
was
is?
the former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. This was a very seriously deep. Now, this is by no means trying to justify his murder. Political violence is wrong at home. It is wrong abroad. It is wrong, and it's also wrong. Political violence must be condemned, as must be the propagandizing for political violence and the dehumanization of people. Charlie Kirk was somebody who was, I shiver, particularly for conservatives, when he's described as a conservative, because he wasn't a conservative by any means whatsoever. He was quite clearly a comfortably a supremacist. That if I was somebody who was going on television, I'm sure you wouldn't describe somebody who goes on TV and blames Jewish people for what he describes as the coarsening of Western culture, says things like the Equality Act or the Civil Rights Act or so was a mistake, says things like women shouldn't be entitled to abortions, etc., so on and so forth.
Very extreme things. I want you to carry on.
Please.
But he said those in a debate in a university and then received you know, very vigorous debate back. So
Indeed.
what he would argue, and his supporters, is that is freedom of speech. He was wearing a T-shirt with freedom on it, which we hate when it's stopped in this country.
No, I agree with that. I am not here to justify or even contextualize his murder. I completely abhor political violence. I completely despise guns and gun violence too, whatsoever. He was outright on camera saying that, look, it's worthy of us, for the purpose of the Second Amendment or so, that a few people being murdered by guns or so, being murdered with guns or so, over the course of the year, is a worthy sacrifice for the Second Amendment.
Okay, so guys, that is. I'm not going to respond to the racism accusations yet because I have a lot to say. But regarding this is an obvious. He's not. This is basically like, if I come to you, be honest with me in the chat, guys. You guys agree that people die from car accidents, right? Should we take cars away because people die from car accidents? Should we just stop driving altogether? If you say no, what if I come to you and then tomorrow, like, let's say ask me right now, Armin, do you agree that people die because of cars? I will say yes. Then you ask me, Armin, do you think we should take away cars because people die in car accidents? And I say no. Then you ask me, Armin, don't you think those lives matter? The people who die from car accidents, isn't their lives important? I say, of course their lives are important, but it's not worth the cost. Meaning that even though some people die from car accidents, it's not that's a cost that we have to pay for the sake of being able to drive, right? If I say that, and then as soon as I say, the day after I say that, Armin Navabi, dies in a car accident, would you come and say, well, there you go, Armin, you died based on exactly what you like? Would that make me wrong? Would that make me wrong?
Of us, for the purpose of the Second Amendment or so, that a few people being murdered by guns or so, being murdered with guns or so, over the course of
yeah, I mean, if you agree, and I'm not saying if it's correct or not, but if you agree that people owning guns, it's a necessary thing to have for people to protect themselves. Obviously, you're not denying that some people are going to die tragically because of guns. But obviously, anybody who says that we should have guns understands that, and is still think that that's not high enough cost for us to just get rid of gun ownership. That's the argument. And you could disagree with whether it's worth it or not, but that doesn't make them demonic in the same way that it doesn't make you immoral for saying that we shouldn't get rid of cars just because some people die in car accidents.
Is a worthy sacrifice for the Second Amendment. The problem is that whilst those of us who speak from the position of empathy, where we come from, is the belief that it could be us one day. He never thought that it could be him, and he.
Anyways, I'm not interested in the gun part. I'm actually mostly the stream is about him being a racist accusation. So let's go to this one.
Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be assassinated, but I'm overwhelmed seeing the flags of the United States of America at half-staff, calling this nation to honor and venerate a man who was an unapologetic racist and spent all of his life sowing seeds of division and hate into this land. And hearing people with selective rage who were mad about Charlie Kirk but didn't give a damn about Melissa Hortman and her husband when they were shot down in their home, tell me I ought to have compassion for the death of a man who had no respect for my own life. I am sorry, but there's nowhere in Bible where we are taught to honor evil. And how you die does not redeem how you lived. You do not become a hero in your death when you are a weapon of the enemy in your life. I can abhor the violence that took your life, but I don't have to celebrate how you chose to live. I am overwhelmed.
All right, so let's look. I haven't heard this one. Let's see what this guy is saying.
I'm concerned about all of these Negro preachers who've been, in fact, talking about that this man that was killed was the answer to Christ in the earth. Y'all ain't saying that. They having moments of silence in black churches all over the country over a man that was racist and a white supremacist. How dare you compare him to Martin Luther King? The only thing that Charlie, Chris, and Martin Luther King got in common is both of them was killed by a white man. After that, they got nothing else in common.
That's strange, Jamal Bryant. You believe that the only thing that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Charlie Kirk had in common is that they were both killed by white men? How about the most obvious fact that they were both Christians? How about that? They were both wrongfully killed. They both died for what they believed in. They
I have to pause because there's music and I don't want to get copyright strike.
were both husbands and they were both fathers. They both fought for freedom and for liberty. They both believed in American exceptionalism. They both believed in biblical justice.
Again, music. Please don't put music on your videos, guys, so that we could show them.
Emphasis on biblical. They both led nonviolent movements. They both believed in the Constitution.
Let's test your knowledge. Don't open it up. Right. What is the 10th Amendment?
They both despised victim mentality. They both saw the value of the nuclear family. They both believed in the betterment of the black community. And finally, they both left legacies that you, Jamal Bryant, will never be able to live up to and that you will never, ever have. Cute blouse at that, too. God bless you.
Okay, so let's actually address the accusations, okay? So when I look into why people think Charlie Kirk was racist, two main things come up. One of them is this video that I'm about to show you. I will show you this, which is regard to the accusation that Charlie Kirk said that black women, the accusation that black women do not have brain processing power. Okay? They do not have the brain processing power. So, I mean, if he said that, let's watch this. And then the second main thing that people talk about Charlie Kirk being racist is that he said that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. The Civil Rights Act in the United States was a mistake. So let's look at both of these and address them. By the way, guys, have you heard this? Have you heard about the accusation that Charlie Kirk said that black women do not have brain processing power? So let's try to be as objective as one could be. Again, nobody could be 100% objective, but let's try. And let's see what he said here, and then also the responses.
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color. But I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own. I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone more deserving. You know, this is how arrogant Joy Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee are. They're so narcissistic, they think this is persuasive. They think we're like, oh, of course. That's why we need affirmative action, because you have impressed us with your brilliance. Of course. Oh no, imagine the world without Joy Reid. Imagine the world without Sheila Jackson Lee or Michelle Obama or Ketanji Brown Jackson.
So Carl's saying, I didn't get it. I'll explain.
They think this is persuasive. They think, as they kind of now reveal that I'm only here because of anti-white, anti-Asian forced discrimination policies that turned me into a bitter, resentful activist that hates white people, honestly, through our
Okay. Guys, look the insanity of this. This video has 2.1 million 2.1 million views. And hold on a second. And also look at the caption. The caption says, Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously. You have to go steal a white person's slot. And it puts it in quotation. Guys, I don't know. Putting something in quotations means that this is exactly the verbatim words that came out of Charlie's mouth. I played the video for you guys. Let me know in the chat. Did any of you at any point hear Charlie saying this thing in the caption that they put in the quotation? Did anybody hear Charlie say Black women do not have brain processing power at any point during this video? Look, the caption is here, the video is under it, and it got 14,000 likes, 2 million views, with a lot of people in the comments saying like, oh my God, what a fucking racist. People are saying no in the chat. Do you see how disgusting these people are? Like, the caption is next to the video, and they can't, like, the people who are watching this, they're not calling it out like, dude, this caption that you put in quotations was not in the video. He did not say that. Look at, he was talking about specific women. And let me tell you guys, if we had DEI, meaning that if you got special privileges, let's say we lived in a society that, I don't know, white people got DEI, okay? White people. Meaning that if you're white, you, without even having them, without the merit, without you actually being suited for a position, we will take a black person's position in university and we will give it to you as a white person if we had DEI for white people, okay? Then, of course, some white people would not be fit for the position they have in the university. They wouldn't have the brain processing power for the position that they have been given in that university. This is not anti-white. This is just the nature of DEI. If you do that with any group of people, if tomorrow, like if you go tomorrow do that with Chinese people, or if you do that with Jews, if you do that with Iranians, if you do that with Arabs, with any group of people, if I give them special privileges, then there will be some people within that group that were not fit for that position that they have now. So, and he mentioned specific individuals. He did not make a general claim about black women. Obviously, if you needed DEI to get to a position, if you're a black person that would have gotten that position without DEI, then obviously you have enough brain processing power for that position. But anybody, black, white, purple, green, if you require DEI to get that position, then you do not have enough brain processing power to get that position. Does that make sense? And look, he mentions by name. He never said black woman. Hold on, let's watch this again.
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously.
Right.
You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action.
Just notice how, listen one more time, if he says at any point, black woman.
Affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color, but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own.
You were not smart enough. You, not all black. And guys, the whole DEI, the whole point is that the DEI is racist towards black women and black men. Because without DEI, every time I see a black doctor, a black pilot, a black surgeon, I do not, nobody would question whether or not they're fit for the job. It's DEI that makes people question. Guys, if we had DEI for white people, if we give special privileges to white people, then if I need a surgery and the surgeon was white, I would be worried. I would be like, give me a black doctor, because I don't know if this white doctor actually is as good. I don't know if this guy is good. If there was DEI for white people, this is not about you being anti a certain race. But if you give certain privileges to any class, then I'm going to doubt how good they are at what they do. So DEI encourages people to question the qualifications of black people in the United States. So this policy makes society anti-black, because you cannot be. And again, it's an insult to black people. I mean, imagine if you're a black person that knows, that you deserve the position that you have. But now, because of this dumbass policy, people are not going to be sure. Isn't that an insult to you? So Carl's saying, were they DEI hired though? I mean, the point of this video is that they're admitting that they were DEI hires. They were DEI. That's what they were admitting. He was showing them admitting it. So he's saying in this video that if we said this, we would be called racist. So it's good. It's a good thing that they are saying it themselves. So look at this. This is insanity. Look at this. So somebody posted this saying, J.D. Vance says that Charlie Kirk never said black women do not have the brain processing power to be taken seriously. He never uttered those words. And then Ron Smith, I think he thinks that this is a gotcha. And then Charlie Kirk said, Joy Reid, Michelle Obama. Okay, so let's just watch the video, okay? So this video is supposed to be a got you to show that J.D. Vance is lying. So like, oh, J.D. Vance is lying. Charlie Kirk did say those words. So look at this got you video.
The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words.
If we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But
how is this a got you? He didn't say it. Those are individual people. Those are individual people. The word black woman didn't come out of his mouth.
Now they're coming out and they're saying it for us.
Guys, I didn't know that you cannot say anything against any black woman, because if I say anything against any black woman, then I am anti all black women. Guys, do not dare say anything negative against me in the chat, because if I'm an Iranian, and if you say anything against me in the chat, you are racist, anti-Iranian racist. What the fuck? How is this the same? Like, oh my God, look, J.D. Vance was lying. Charlie Kirk did say that. No, he didn't.
And we're affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously.
Yeah. The people who needed DEI.
You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously.
Oh, by the way, guys, you can see in the chat somebody saying Kirk thought the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. We're going to get there. You think I'm not going to ignore that accusation? We're going to get there. I mean, the accusation that he's racist, using that as I will tell you exactly what he said about the Civil Rights Act. Okay, you guys think that you could just come and spread lies against Charlie and just get away with it? But look at this. How much did this one got? 11 million views, 138,000 likes for saying that, look, J.D. Vance lied. Charlie did say that. Do these people not understand the difference between criticizing individual black women and being anti-black women as a whole? Are they this fucking stupid? This is insanity. They think this is a got you. Like, how are people this idiotic? Let's watch this guy. Let's listen to him.
Racist. This word has been overused for so long that we don't seem to understand what it is anymore. And it's what people call Charlie Kirk, in part for this statement about several prominent black women.
In fact, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously.
Was that rude and insensitive of Charlie? Yes. Was it a counterproductive personal attack? Also yes. Was it racist? No. The Oxford English Dictionary defines racism as prejudice or discrimination based on race, or the belief that some races are inherently superior. Out of context, Charlie's statement can sound racist. And here's the context. Charlie was talking about affirmative action policies. He was responding to a series of admissions by several of those Black women that they benefited from affirmative action, including this one.
I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color, but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action.
Michelle Obama wrote of her college experiences, "I sometimes wondered if people thought I got there because of affirmative action. I went to Harvard, and I've often wondered the same thing. I even had a white liberal, who I knew, throw that in my face. And it's a rational thing to wonder." Charlie voiced the doubt that many were afraid to admit. In a system that factors in race, people will wonder if race is a factor. So if Michelle wondered if people had doubt, wouldn't it be reasonable to expect that some people did have doubt? Now, look, you might think the upside of affirmative action outweighs the downside. That's okay. Charlie disagreed. And here was his mistake. By attacking the intelligence of those women, he made his point in an emotionally unintelligent way. It was racially insensitive. Charlie was a white man commenting on specific Black women. So there's a higher
I mean, I like this guy, but I also don't think that you should worry about what race you are when you're talking. You should ignore what race you are when you're talking. Who gives a fuck what race I am? Like, I have an opinion, but I'm sorry. I don't have. No, I'm not the right shade. Little bit too light. Little bit on the lighter side for me giving this opinion. Why, if there's a comment that a Black person can say, then anybody can say. Anybody should be able to say what a Black person can say.
Chance of him coming across as offensive and other Black women feeling defensive. That doesn't mean he can't speak. It's just a reminder to all of us that what you say matters and how you say it matters too. And it wasn't racist. He didn't say they were unqualified because they were Black. He said he thought they were unqualified and speculated they were elevated because they were Black. And affirmative action policies create the conditions for that speculation. He attacked specific individuals who he thought benefited from a race-based policy. He did not imply that their race made them inferior. Which brings us to our bigger problem. Charlie was just killed. People are celebrating his death. His comment was insensitive, and celebrating death is inhuman. That would be true even if that statement was racist. But that's the problem with social media. An insensitive sentence gets called racist. And then racists get the death sentence. Then people rush to explain, I don't condemn violence, but this is why I'm not bothered. We should all be bothered. We think we know the whole truth, but we don't. Algorithms give us news that confirms our views. So people don't see the Black Leadership Summits Charlie organized. They don't see how he had Black allies who he listened to when he made mistakes. Social media is warping our reality and our humanity. A bad argument doesn't make a bad person, but we exaggerate the bad and explain away the good. And now, many are celebrating the death of a man they're certain they understood. This assassination is a wake-up call for our nation. This is where broken discourse leads. Partisanship isn't working, so we need a new approach. I've got the full breakdown and a path forward on my Substack. Link below.
Okay, so look at this guy. This guy is good. I like him. Let's follow him. I cannot pronounce his name, but go and give him a follow. Let's look at this here.
Play it.
I read a story in the Nation.
Wait, hold on. Let's see what was the context.
To be seen. Today, you mentioned, and I mentioned as well, Vice President J.D. Vance sitting in to do his show. And listen to this man just blatantly lie, Joe. Play it.
I read a story in the Nation magazine about my dear friend, Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about Black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Bullshit.
Okay, Joe.
How is that bullshit? He never talked about Black women as a group. That's exactly what he play Charlie Kirk's video.
This is actually what he said.
Okay, yeah, play it.
No, Roland, that's utter bullshit.
In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white...
That is not the words. Why do these people think that this is a gotcha? Like, oh, play the clip. He said it. No, he didn't, motherfucker. No, he didn't, you idiot. Okay, let me actually tell you something, okay? You people who think he said it, you don't have the brain processing power,
white
apparently.
Person slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
Yeah, we can watch this part.
But in terms of being
we already saw this.
Not only that,
and a woman of color.
All right, Joe. He literally said it. Now,
no, he literally did not. He literally did not. Okay, both of you, guys, I'm not being racist. This is a white guy. This is a black guy. You both are fucking morons, meaning that your brain does not work very efficiently. He literally did not say that. J.D. Vance was saying he did not mention Black women as a group. And the clip that you played shows that J.D. Vance was right. You fucking morons. Are you kidding me? This video got 10,000 likes. This is insanity. Look at how easy it is to accuse people of shit. Okay, let's go to the accusation of he thought the civil rights movement was Civil Rights Act was a bad idea. But let's actually respond to some super chats. Oh, we got 4 super chats. Thank you so much, guys. Our goal is to get to 10 super chats hopefully today. Sean is saying they aren't stupid, Armin. They are racial collectivists. I mean, Sean. I mean, isn't that the same thing? To be fair, isn't that the same thing? Okay. And then Shana says, racist in the 21st century just means that something heretic did in the 12th. Something heretic did it in the 12th. Okay, I don't understand that one. Maybe I don't have the brain processing power to understand that one. Just something heretic. Okay. And then we have Amir saying truth doesn't care about race. True. That's a good one. Thank you, Shana, and thank you, Amir, for the super chats. But now let's go to the second main accusation. So, guys, let me tell you what my plan here today is. I'm going to show you the second accusation against Charlie. And then some videos of Charlie explaining his position on this issue. And then I'm going to go to what Charlie thought about race as a whole, because you might be you will be very surprised, because I actually don't agree with Charlie's views on race, and I think he's to my left when his opinions on race. Like, I think not only he's not a racist, I think he's too far on the other side. Okay, like, I'll show you what Charlie's opinions on race is, and you might think, like, was Charlie really right leaning? Because that sounds not even like central left, like central left. That looks more like a little bit too far left, his views on race, which is kind of weird. Okay, and then I'll show you some videos regarding how Charlie was with black people, which is very interesting, and then some really amazing takedowns Charlie against racist people, and I'm going to show you that as well, which is very powerful. But let's now go. Now let's go to this accusation by AOC regarding Charlie being against the Civil Rights Act. So let's watch this.
I thank Gentleman Representative Green for his graciousness. Today, the Republican House majority brought to the floor a resolution honoring, quote, honoring the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's assassination was a horrific and vile attack and incident of political violence. And condemning the depravity of Kirk's...
Well, guys, I haven't watched this yet. Do you sense a but coming? Do you sense a but coming? If you're clever, you in these types of situations, instead of using a but, you would say also or something like that. But I am sensing a but somewhere around in the middle of this sentence.
And condemning the depravity of Kirk's brutal murder is a straightforward matter, one that is especially important to help stabilize an increasingly unsafe and volatile political environment where everyday people feel more at risk. We can deeply disagree and come together as a country to denounce the horror of this killing. And it is not a license for the abuse of power and whitewashing of American history.
She said and. I think she was careful not to use a but.
Today's resolution only underscores the majority's recklessness by choosing to author this condemnation and honoring on a purely partisan basis, instead of uniting Congress in this tragedy with one of the many bipartisan options to condemn political violence and Kirk's murder, as we did with the late Melissa Hortman. Instead, the majority proceeded with a resolution that brings great pain to the millions of Americans who endured segregation, Jim Crow, and the legacy of bigotry today.
Which Charlie was against?
We should be clear about who Charlie Kirk was. A man who believed that the Civil Rights Act that granted Black Americans the right to vote was a mistake.
There it is. So this is the second major accusation against Charlie, okay?
Who, after the violent attack on Paul Pelosi, claimed that, quote, some amazing patriot, unquote, should bail out his brutal assailant.
That's another that's a whole bunch of other that's a completely other show that I could do, that you could see if the context of that. These people are fucking evil. I mean, today I'm going to focus on the racism allegations, but you could see, let me know if you want me to do more of these, showing you how they're always keep taking them out of context. But let's focus on racism today.
And accused Jews of controlling, quote, not just the colleges, it's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it, unquote.
Oh my God. Charlie Kirk was one of the most pro-Jewish Americans I've ever known. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you
His
talking
rhetoric
about? He was talking about some organizations who are mostly Jewish, not Jews as a whole.
and beliefs were ignorant, uneducated, and sought to disenfranchise millions of Americans.
Look at this fucking idiot. He's saying somebody's saying context, context. What context makes this sound good? You're a fucking moron. For example, if I say, so and so said that we should go eliminate these groups of people, and then if you cut me out and I say we should go eliminate those people, and then you watch that video, I'm like, hey, look what Armin said, we should go eliminate those groups of people, or like, oh, this is horrible. Like, hey, you should actually listen to it in context. There is no context that could make this sound good. You're a fucking moron. You're absolutely retarded. You're one of those people who doesn't have enough brain processing power to understand that context could actually change what somebody's saying 180 fucking degrees, motherfucker. But again, I'm not saying this for you because you are obviously too stupid to understand this. I'm saying this for the sake of other people.
Americans, far from the working tirelessly to promote unity, unquote, asserted by the majority in this resolution.
Okay, wait. So we got a super chat. Not the bomb is saying, I love how people saying Israel did this. Even Nick Fuentes, wow. Even Nick Fuentes says you guys are crazy. Had to make a whole response video. They've lost the plot. Yes. Wait, is that on your channel? Not the bomb? Go watch it, guys. Okay. Yeah. Nick Fuentes is saying that I didn't believe that there was this low IQ type anti-Semitism out there, but apparently there is. So he thinks like, hey guys, if we need to have high IQ anti-Semitism. I didn't know there's I didn't believe that there, like they used to tell me that there's a low IQ anti-Semitism, but now I'm believing that there is a low IQ. He has, like, maybe people were right. Some anti-Semite like, hey guys, if you want to be anti-Semite, you have to do it at high IQ level like him. That's what. Again, YouTube. I'm not encouraging anti-Semitism. I'm just saying what Nick Fuentes was saying. Oh my God, we got another giant super chat. Thank you. Mastermind 1776 is saying, discovered you over a year ago. I always appreciate your insight and perpetual truth seeking. As a Christian, we may disagree on religious matters, but honestly and humbly seeking truth is powerful unifier. I'm Israel Chai Javicha. Well, thank you so much, Mastermind. And honestly, I don't think our disagreement matters, other than our disagreements are just an excuse for us to have interesting conversations. Okay, so that's what I think it is. Okay, so we might have disagreements, and not only our disagreements does not make us against each other, disagreements among friends is just are just an interesting conversation starter. That's what I think it is. That's what I think disagreements are, and I really appreciate that you see it that way as well. Thank you so much for the giant support. That's like our channel, guys, doesn't usually get support like this, so that's very much appreciated when it does. Thank you so much, guys. All right, so let's go to the response. Let's hear a little bit. Like, guys, we haven't heard much from Charlie himself for a while, so let's do that. Let's hear from Charlie.
The Civil Rights Act was a mistake. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so wait. So civil rights. You said that this black student is saying to Charlie that you said that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. What did you mean by that? So let's listen to Charlie answer.
The Civil Rights Act was a mistake. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so the parts of the Civil Rights Act were great, but the way it's now being implemented to force men in female bathrooms to push forward of the trans agenda, the intent of the Civil Rights Act is way beyond what it was originally authored for.
But the intent specifically originally was to...
Well, that's interesting. So the intent and the law are two different things. So the intent was noble, which was to say that no American can be not allowed into a place of business based on the color of their skin or their ethnic.
Do you guys hear that? The intent, he says the intent of the Civil Rights Act was noble. The thing that he's against is the execution. He agrees with the goal of the Civil Rights Act. He disagrees with the execution.
Different things. So the intent was noble, which was to say that no American can be not allowed into a place of business based on the color of their skin or their ethnic heritage. Totally agreement with that. That's not what the law only did. It created a massive anti-racist DEI army that then gave us affirmative action. For example, recently Merrick Garland sued using the Civil Rights Act, saying that we cannot have voter ID in certain states because it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act. So basically what the Civil Rights Act did is that it went beyond disparate impact and then went to disparate effect, in the sense where
see, like exactly, like what the Civil Rights Act should be about, how we treat different groups in a society, not about the outcome. That's the problem with the Civil Rights Act. I mean, honestly, I'm learning this from Charlie, that his issue is that you shouldn't be adjusting the outcome. You should be adjusting what goes in, not what goes out. And guys, that is liberalism. That's the difference between liberalism and leftism. Liberalism obsesses over equal rights, equal opportunity, equal treatment. Leftism obsesses with equal outcome, which is absolute insanity, right? So that's his issue with the Civil Rights Act. He wants equal treatment of people in America, but not an equal outcome.
Went beyond disparate impact and then went to disparate effect, in the sense where if Black Americans are not doing as well as white Americans in a certain category, you can now use the Civil Rights Act and say that's a violation of the Civil Rights Act, even though there might be other contributing factors. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's too broad, too wide, and it's now doing a lot of damage to the country. It's being used well beyond its original intent.
Yes. So, for example, in the same, there's a place that he brings up a case. For example, let's just give it as an example, right? In supermarkets, if you notice that Black people are being challenged more, attacked more for shoplifting compared to white people in supermarkets, then based on the Civil Rights Act, you could go and sue that supermarket. Why is your security guard attacking Black people more than white people for shoplifting? Right? Well, the answer is because of this is statistics, guys. This is not because of innate characteristics of Black people. This is a whole other lot of other elements, environmental elements. Black people in the United States do shoplifting more than white people. So of course security guards are going to attack them or stop them or check them more because of the things they see compared to white people. But that would be, based on the way that the Civil Rights Act is, that would be a violation of the Civil Rights Act. Like, as a security guard, you would have to basically stop white people as many times as you're stopping Black people, which makes no sense. Do you get that? Or else your business would be a violation, would be violating some laws, which that is insanity. Let me see. We got a super chat from, I cannot pronounce that name, but saying Netanyahu took out Charlie just like he took out Yitzhak Rabin. Okay. Well, you're insane. Yeah. Okay. Evidence or shut the fuck up. That's a claim. That's a claim. I could make that claim. I could make any claim. I could say that you took out Charlie. How about that? It was you. Can I? Again, guys, I keep forgetting. Was it Christopher Hitchens that said this or Carl Sagan? What can be claimed without evidence can also be dismissed without evidence. So you making that claim is worth nothing. It's worth nothing. I mean, it's worth something because you gave us a super chat. So you supported a channel that tells other people how insane your claims are. So thank you for it. Was Hitchens? Okay, it was Hitchens. I think Carl Sagan had a similar quote regarding evidence. Oh, Carl Sagan had this quote: "Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence." That's a Carl Sagan quote. which also applies here. Both the Hitchens quotes and the Carl Sagan quote apply here. That's an extraordinary claim, and not only you do not have extraordinary evidence, you have zero fucking evidence. And then listen to this. Nail Bunny saying you've got $150 from 2 super chats. Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Today was a good day for this channel. And then Nail Bunny is also saying, number 9, hi Armin. I was AP's driver last weekend. Did you say hi on my behalf? Did you say Navabi sends his regards? And thank you if you did. And thank you for the super chat. All right. So let's go talk about this. Oh, guys, we got to our goal. We already got 10 super chats. Nail Bunny just gave us another super chat saying it was surreal having AP as a passenger in my Mini. Well, thank you. And thank you for helping me reach our goal today. We got 10 super chats today. I appreciate that, Nail Bunny. Thank you. All right. So let's watch this one. Here. So, regarding the Civil Rights Act.
If you had the opportunity, you would get rid of the Civil Rights Act?
No, I think you should have a one-page bill that says that
Guys, just listen. Somebody said, if you had the opportunity to get rid of the Civil Rights Act, would you do that? He said no. He just wants to turn it into a one-page bill. So he wants to have the Civil Rights Act, but not in the way that it is written now. Not in the way that it is written now. So he wants a Civil Rights Act. He's not against having a Civil Rights Act.
If you had the opportunity, you would get rid of the Civil Rights Act?
No, I think you should have a one-page bill that says that racial discrimination based on race is illegal and will not be tolerated in the United States of America. Most Black Americans don't support is men and female sports. Would you agree?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. No, for sure, right? Believe it or not, the Civil Rights Act is now being used to keep men playing in women's sports. So the Civil Rights Act was used to help Black America originally. Totally get that. But now the way it was written is that any claim of identification, so someone says, I'm a woman, therefore I can compete in your volleyball team, they come in with a civil rights claim. And so what we're saying is, no, it should be specified to racial, not gender, all that other stuff. And there were all these other provisions as well.
Now, do you get it? He was not trying to say that blacks should lose their rights and equal protections under the law. He was saying that homosexuals, the LGBTQIA plus and counting community, you know, there's 72 genders in counting. He was saying that those individuals should not have special rights. We should have equal rights under the law, but not special rights.
Well, honestly, nobody should have special rights. It's not about LGBT people. White people shouldn't have special rights. Black people shouldn't have. No group should have special rights. This is not about just zooming on LGBT people. Everybody should just be, the rights should be protected. Okay, so by the way, I really appreciate all these black people
the Civil
coming
Rights
in
Act was a mistake.
and supporting
that?
Yeah, so the parts of the Civil Rights Act were great, but the way
Hold on. I really appreciate all of these black people, even though maybe I don't agree with their wording 100% sometimes. That doesn't matter. I really do appreciate that these black and women are coming out and supporting Charlie against these false claims. So wait, who was that last person? I do want to promote the accounts that I'm using. Oh no, this is not the person in the video, but I'm gonna follow him anyways. Okay, so this is Mimi comments. Oh no, that's not the person in this video either. But anyways, I'll follow you because you shared it. So let's look at this person sharing this, because she's responding to Charlie being accused of being against the Civil Rights Act. So
the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so the parts of the Civil Rights Act were great, but the way it's now being implemented to force men in female bathrooms to push forward of the trans agenda, the intent of the Civil Rights Act is way beyond what it was originally authored for.
But the intent specifically originally was to...
Well, that's interesting. So the intent and the law are two different things. So the intent was noble, which was to say that no American can be not allowed into a place of business based on the color of their skin or their ethnic heritage. Totally agreement with that. Totally agreement with that. Totally agreement with that. That's not what the law only did.
She played the totally agree with that 3 times. And look, I like the editing here. Look, she's like, do I like look at her face? She's like basically saying, do I need to say anything else? Look, look at her, like looking into your eyes. She's like, are you? She's basically without saying anything is telling you, are you a fucking moron? Are you a fucking moron? What's her guys?
And the law are two different things. So the intent was noble, which was to say that no American can be not allowed into a place of business based on the color of their skin or their ethnic heritage. Totally agreement with that. Totally agreement with that. Totally agreement with that. That's not what the law only did. It created a massive anti-race.
She didn't say anything, but she said so many things. By the way, guys, this is a black woman with a lot of brain processing power, unlike some of you in the chat who don't understand that Charlie was not a racist.
DEI army that then gave us affirmative action. For example, recently Merrick Garland sued using the Civil Rights Act, saying that we cannot have voter ID in certain states because it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act. So basically what the Civil Rights Act did is that it went beyond disparate impact and then went to disparate effect, in the sense where if black Americans are not doing as well as white Americans in a certain category, you can now use the Civil Rights Act and say that's a violation of the Civil Rights Act, even though there might be.
Oh, look at this idiot. Somebody saying, here's another echo chamber stream. You're a fucking moron. Just look at the rest of the stream. Half of the people in the stream are constantly swearing at me. You're an idiot. Guys, here's another person without much brain processing power. I'm going to use that forever.
Other contributing factors. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's too broad, too wide, and it's now doing a lot of damage to the country. It's being used well beyond its original intent.
You said the civil rights.
Yeah. So, thank you. Oh, wait. Now we have her actual account here. Come on, show her. Okay. So that's the account of the person who shared that video. You can see it here. So that's good. We got the actual. All right, let's go here. Let's see what Charlie.
Okay, this is what Charlie Kirk had to say about the Civil Rights Act.
If you had the opportunity, you would get rid of the Civil Rights Act?
No, I think you should have a one-page bill that says that.
All right, so we already watched that one. That's just the video a lot of people are sharing around. Let's watch this one. Hold on.
Okay, so I've had a whole lot of white folks commenting on my last video asking for proof that Charlie Kirk was an outspoken racist. And there are many horrible quotes to choose from, but there's one that I haven't seen get quite as much attention that I believe is head and shoulders worse than all the rest. In December of 2023, Kirk said, quote, "We made a huge mistake when we passed the Civil Rights Act in the 1960s," end quote.
See how he said end quote? Charlie Kirk has explained his reasoning behind this multiple times. And these people have to leave out the context in order to paint the picture they want to paint. Listen to Charlie Kirk talking about this.
You said the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so the parts of the Civil Rights Act were great, but the way it's now being implemented to force men in female bathrooms to push forward of the trans agenda, the intent of the Civil Rights Act is way beyond what it was originally authored for.
But the intent specifically originally was to
Well, that's interesting. So the intent and the law are two different things. So the intent was noble, which was to say that no American can be not allowed into a place of business based on the color of their skin or their ethnic heritage. Totally agreement with that.
Did we see what he just said?
Are two different things. So the intent was noble, which was to say that no American can be not allowed into a place of business based on the color of their skin or their ethnic heritage. Totally agreement with that.
So he said he's totally in agreement with that. He also said it was noble. Let's actually look at the definition of noble real quick. Number 2 is the definition that applies. Having or showing fine personal qualities or high moral principles and ideals. So he's saying the Civil Rights Act had high moral principles. It was noble. It was good. He says he's in agreement with the intent. So no, he doesn't want black people being denied at water fountains. He does not think we shouldn't have rights in this country. Now let's let him continue.
That's not what the law only did. It created a massive anti-racist DEI army that then gave us affirmative action. For example, recently Merrick Garland sued using the Civil Rights Act, saying that we cannot have voter ID in certain states because it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act. So basically what the Civil Rights Act did is that it went beyond disparate impact and then went to disparate effect, in the sense where if Black Americans are not doing as well as white Americans in a certain category, you can now use the Civil Rights Act and say that's a violation of the Civil Rights Act, even though there might be other contributing factors. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's too broad, too wide, and it's now doing a lot of damage to the country. It's being used well beyond its original intent.
So he said it's being used well beyond its original intent. So to make it very simple, he thinks the intent behind the act was good. He 100% thinks that Black people should not be discriminated against due to their skin color. So he says the bill should be more concise and it should not be used in all these different broad ways that it's being used. All these people consistently take him out of context and they make sure to leave him out of context. Just a reminder, I have a free email newsletter where I give you morning updates about what's going on and I go into more depth on many of these topics. The link is on my profile. Just go there, click the link. You'll see this screen here, drop your email in and you'll be good to go.
All right, go follow him. Jeffrey Meat, okay, that's his name. Hold on. By the way, guys, do you appreciate how many Black people just came out and are supporting Charlie against all of these accusations of racism?
One of the lies that they tell about Charlie.
I don't know why I cannot pause these videos. I need to refresh them, and then it becomes pausable after I refresh it. All right, so let's see what this guy is saying. I don't know if it's going to be. I honestly haven't listened to this yet. Let's see if it's going to be good or not. Oh wait, we got a super chat. Let me respond to the super chat. Comrade Shifty is saying, following you from October. Oh, that's a interesting time to follow me, and I appreciate you following me. Thank you. So, following you from October, I can see why. From October 2023, keep it up. Make Iran OG again. Okay, thank you, Comrade Shifty. Appreciate your support. Thank you for supporting me. Okay, so let me remove the star. And I hope I get to keep you as a fan. I hope I don't let you guys down. So let's watch this one.
One of the lies that they tell about Charlie Kirk was a statement that he made about the Civil Rights Act, and he said that he didn't agree with it, but he believed that he believed in it, but he didn't believe in the way they used it. Right, because now the way the Civil Rights Act was written, it has been used and weaponized against employers with transgenderism, and that's what he was talking about, and that's what he meant. Of course, he said that publicly. He believes in the premise of the First Amendment. I mean, not of the First Amendment, but of the Civil Rights Movement, which is to give Black people the same rights as everybody else, right? That he believes that they should have the right to vote, they should have all these rights, right? But that is not what it's been used for now. Now it's being weaponized to say, well, you can't discriminate against transgenders playing in women's sports. And
I don't like the way that they're making it about, oh, they're using it on trans people, so now it's bad. Okay, so Civil Rights Act, it's not about it. This is, I don't agree with the way they're framing it. I don't like it if they say, oh, it was good for Black people, but it's bad for trans people. Like, we wanted to. I think the way that they should frame it is that it's good when it's about equal opportunity. It's bad when it's about giving certain privileges. Whether you're Black or trans or white or purple, I don't care, right? It's not Black versus trans. Is that if you are giving equal opportunities to Black people just like everyone else, that's a good Civil Rights Act. If you're giving equal opportunity to trans people just like everyone else, that's a good Civil Rights Act. If you're giving privileges to Black people over other people, that's a bad Civil Rights Act because you're adjusting for outcome. If you're giving privileges to trans people over other people, that's a bad Civil Rights Act. That's the way. So don't make it Black versus trans. Make it opportunity versus outcome. That's what it should be.
You can't discriminate.
And guys, that's basically the difference between liberalism and leftism, okay?
Here and discriminate there in the language of the Civil Rights Movement. So the comments that Charlie Kirk's saying there, if you watch the whole clip, you got to go back and watch it. See, Black people, we are known for getting a clip and say he's racist.
Okay, that's racist. Okay, Charlie is not racist, but my man, my man, that what you just said, that is racist. Black people. Okay, you just generalized black people. Okay, so Charlie didn't generalize anybody, but you are generalizing black people.
Saying there, if you watch the whole clip, you got to go back and watch it. See, black people, we are known for getting a clip and say he's racist. Go back.
Yeah, okay. This is not a black people thing. This is basically common among all people. Okay, so
back and watch the full video. Go back and watch the full clip, and you will.
Yeah, I mean, Shauna is saying, I mean, people in general just grab a clip and go, yeah, this is not a black people just
get
thing.
a better understanding of what Charlie Kirk was saying. But Charlie Kirk was far from racist. He has platformed so many black people. He has an organization called Blexic where he has platformed many black voices. Charlie Kirk really cared about the black community. He really did, and he said it numerous times. Anybody that criticizes you, black people, they're not against you. Some people really just want you to see you do better. But black people think that victim mentality, that if you are saying anything about me negative, you are.
Hey, look at it. This guy is generalizing black people. He's saying, but black people think black people have a victim mentality. Okay, Charlie, I mean, I appreciate him trying to defend Charlie, but he's getting racist. This is getting racist. This is racist against black people.
Are against me. That's victimhood. We need to get out of that.
Yeah, so see, Charlie, when he was talking about those specific people, that was not racist because he was talking about individuals. But this guy is this guy's talking about black people as a whole. So let's watch Charlie again a little bit.
If I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be
why can I not pause? Like, Elon, why does your video player suck? Like, what are you doing? I need to refresh this so I could actually pause. Okay, so let's watch this interaction here. It's interesting.
He said, if I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's.
Okay, so we're talking about DEI. Okay, so he's responding to something Charlie said. Charlie says, if I see a black pilot, you're going to wonder if he is qualified. Okay, so that sounds racist, right? Oh my, guys, if you see a black pilot, are you going to wonder if he's racist? If he's qualified for being a pilot? Are you going to be worried? I wouldn't be worried if we didn't have DEI. If it was all merit based, then if I see a black pilot, white pilot, purple pilot, green pilot, I'm like, it was merit based. They must be qualified. But if you think that some people need to reduce the qualifications needed for a certain job to be able to, for a certain group of people to get that job, then from those group of people, every time I see them in that job, I'm going to think that, well, maybe they're not qualified. This is not about being anti-black. If you do this for white people, I'm going to wonder that as well. If we live in a society that they said, like, okay, we need to actually help out white people, so let's reduce the qualifications needed for them to be able to get this position. Every time I see a white person in that position, I'm going to wonder, maybe they're not actually qualified for the position because of the policy. The policy, it's not their skin color that is going to make me wonder that. It's the policy that is going to make me wonder that. The policy is racist. Okay. So this man asked asks Charlie about this, and Charlie responds.
If I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Are you gonna do that?
Yeah, I mean that is correct. Yeah,
that's correct. Okay, so can we both agree?
What was the context of what I said though?
What was the context? I don't even want to get into DEI because your opinion on DEI, it doesn't really help it in this case. So if the context between what you brought up was that you believe that
because they were being hired because they were black.
Okay, so can we both agree that every single pilot, whether black, white, whoever, has to go through FAA certification?
No, actually,
we can't.
New lawsuit shows that black pilots and female pilots have the standards being relaxed?
No,
for them?
sir. Can we agree at the time of February 29th or 2023 when you said it at the time? No?
No, actually, I said it. That's why you don't know the context. Is that new lawsuits were showing that they were relaxing the standards for air traffic control and pilots in order to meet the standards.
The context of that was diversity, equity, and inclusion. What does that have to do with hiring?
Everything. DEI definitionally is that we will hire more of a race versus a different race. So, for example, United Airlines said that they want 50% of their new pilots to either be women or black.
Okay.
Currently, just so you understand, it's like 8%. So they want to go from 8% to 50%.
Okay.
And every time DEI is implemented, every single time, the lowering of standards occurs. Every single time.
Lowering of standards?
Correct. So can I prove it to you?
Yeah, I mean, you have to lower the okay, guys. If with the standards that you have, the 20% of a certain group are getting in, and then you say we need to actually increase that to 50%, the only way you could do that is to lower the standards for that specific group of people. That's the only way you could do it. There's no other way.
Both want excellence, right?
Okay.
If you and I said,
somebody's saying he's not reading chat. I am reading chat as much as I can. Yeah, that's just math. Carl is saying that's just math.
hey, we want 50% of the new people going in the NBA are white.
Okay.
Would the NBA drop in its standard?
No.
No.
The National Basketball
League.
League.
No. If we said 50%, if we say
50% of the NBA dropped and it was only white.
No.
You're saying would the standard go down?
I'm not hearing what I'm saying. If 50% of all new people going in the NBA were white by decree, would the quality of play of the NBA decrease?
Would the quality of play in the NBA decrease?
Yeah.
No, if they're the same standard of basketball play.
Hold on, let's talk realistic.
Well, what are you saying realistically? You're asking me if
75% of the NBA is black. 75%.
Guys, did you guys understand it? Did you guys like this? Is Charlie. So 75% of the NBA is black. If we wanted to force it to be 50% white, 50% black, do you think the NBA would be as good as it is right now? Obviously, it would be shittier and it would go bankrupt because nobody would want to watch it anymore. I mean, does this need explaining? Do you guys understand why? I mean, if you just don't try to make it 50% white, 50% black, the reason why it's 70% black is because they're just better at it. And if you want to make it 50% white, 50% black, you obviously are going to get people in that are just not as good. I don't understand how this is actually really easy to understand. I don't know why he's not getting it. Like, do I need to explain this or you guys get it? And guys, again, it's racist, not DEI giving black people certain privileges and reducing the standards required for them to get into a position. It's actually racist against black people. Like, you might think like, oh, the poor white people who are not getting the job. It's not that. It's actually racist against black people, because every single black person who's qualified will not be able to prove anymore that they're qualified. Do you understand how racist that is to black people? So if you get a position, if we have DEI in favor of black people in a society, even if you were a qualified person, you will never be able to show to society as a black person, you will never be able to demonstrate to society that I actually was qualified. Do you understand how racist that is to black people? You have no way to signal that to me. So let's go to this one.
Give me your perspective on DEI.
Hold on.
Give me your perspective on DEI, and because based on what I heard earlier, I feel like you don't think I belong here.
Oh,
because
really?
Of
Why?
how I am a black man, and because of DEI, I'm not qualified enough to be here. Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Then you belong.
But why do I have to prove that to you?
You don't. You brought it up. I didn't.
Okay, but can you... Can you explain to me your position on DEI?
Yes, people should not be in positions just because of the color of their skin. Hard stop.
Okay, but do you feel like I'm here because
I'm not feeling anything towards you, actually. I'm not prejudicing you. I'm not stereotyping you. I'm saying that it's a material.
I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are.
No, you are. You said I don't feel comfortable being here. You started with.
I didn't say I wasn't comfortable being here. I said I feel like you made it to where I got here through DEI.
So let's examine that. What have I said that makes you feel that way?
When you mentioned how DEI is only just putting people of color and marginalized groups in spaces, even if they're not so and so
correct.
Qualified.
That's exactly what DEI does.
But that's not all that it does. You're categorizing it as something it isn't.
No, that's exactly that is like that is the charter missions for
that's not all.
Okay, so diversity, equity. So equity is outcome based. Is about making people who are of different skin colors have the same outcome, regardless whether or not they are qualified. The best example we have of this is the Students for Fair Admission Harvard Supreme Court case, where black students, they did not, literally, they could have a SAT score 300 points lesser than the Asian equivalent and still get into Harvard. That is DEI in practice. I believe when you're hiring for an organization or for a company or for whatever you are doing, you should prioritize merit and character, and race should mean nothing. We should build around things that matter and not things that don't matter.
Okay. And let's look at this one here. He talks to this black woman here. Let's watch this one. This is good.
When a black person is murdered by police or at the hands of police, the gun, bullet that came from a police officer's registered gun.
On average, how many times a year would you say a black person killed by police? Washington Post's own database, left wing, 10 black individuals a year. So here's my contention. So you have a population that dads are not around, that is very, very murderous per population capita, that is very violent, more likely to be involved in gangs. And we, as conservatives look at that and we say, wait a second, like the problem is within the community. The problem is not the government. The problem is not the culture. The problem is not the history. Instead, really what needs to happen is black leadership, black pastors, and black dads need to go into the black community and say, we're better than this. Cut the killing, cut the violence. Do you know the most, one more point.
Go ahead.
Who is, outside of heart disease and all that, what is the #1 killer of black people in America?
I know about like diabetes, but.
Fellow black people. A black person is far more likely to be killed by another black person than anything else. Black people are a greater threat to their own people than any other community. So it's not like white supremacists coming into these communities and they're mowing down. It's black on black gang violence.
Yeah. I mean, let's go actually to watch Charlie's. I mean, nothing he says is racist. And please also understand that even if you think that something he's saying is wrong and racist are two different things. Like, obviously, you could see his intention is to uplift the black community, to make their lives better. Even if you disagree with his stats, that might make him wrong about certain details. It doesn't make him racist. But to show that he's not racist, let me show you this video of Charlie that I actually think I disagree with. This is actually kind of too lefty for me. Watch this one.
Give me one thing that white people and black people have.
So basically, Charlie was really believed that there's no difference between races. Really believe that. And honestly, let me actually be clear. The word race is not a scientific term. We don't have different race. Like, I know that commonly among people, what people refer to race, I think biologists might refer to it as something else, like different population groups within a species. But if you actually want it to be accurate biologically, there is only one race. I mean, the Neanderthals and everyone else was the different races are dead. Okay, so they're all of the everybody would. This is not some kumbaya shit that I'm saying. Okay, it's actually scientifically true that the human race is only one race. We don't have other races, right? But what people usually refer to different races, I don't know what biologically what the proper term for that is. I think it's just different populations, different population groups, or whatever they call it. But that being said, um, what there are biological differences between these different groups of people. Like there are biological differences between black people and white people. It's not there. It's not true that they're all the same. But Charlie believed that there is no difference. There's absolutely no difference, which I disagree with. But listen to him here.
Give me one thing.
No, it's not ethnicity. Ethnicity is something else. Ethnicity has some language and culture. It's not a biological term, right? Ethnicity is not a biological term, but I don't know what would be the biological equivalent of what people say when they say race. Okay, I think it's just population, different population. But let's watch what Charlie is saying
Give
here.
me one thing that white people and black people have.
Oh, somebody's calling me a Nazi in the chat. Somebody's saying, "Shut your Nazi bitch ass mouth up." Wait, that doesn't make sense. Shut your Nazi bitch ass mouth up. Okay, that does make sense. Okay, no, uh, guys, I'm a Nazi apparently. That's interesting. Okay, so watch this. Make me.
Give me one thing that white people and black people have different biologically.
Don't change the question of this. Like DNA wise, we are different.
No, we're not. That's a lie. It has been disproven. Front page of National Geographic 6 months ago. Racism created by society. If you look at DNA independently in a science laboratory, they cannot distinguish between a black person or a white person if they look at just the DNA, because the only difference is the melanin. It has been disproven. Race is a social construct that I want to break out of. Give me one thing.
Okay, so Charlie is saying race is just a social construct. How is this guy a racist? He doesn't. He thinks, I mean, he's wrong about this, but it's interesting that he's wrong in this way. Okay, so forget race. Let's just, because race is a scientifically incorrect term. Let's just look at skin color. There is a difference between the DNA of white people and black people. Charlie is wrong, but it's interesting that he's wrong here, because him being wrong in this way makes him no way erase it. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of he's wrong, but he's wrong in an interesting way. He's wrong in a way that shows that there's no way that he could be a racist. But let me tell you why he's wrong.
Give me one thing that white people and black people have different biologically.
Don't change the question of this. Like DNA wise, we are different.
Somebody's saying, "Oh my God, you're doing eugenics justification." How? How did what I say is eugenics justification? Are you guys retarded? So Nurse is saying, Armin, you're more racist than Charlie. Damn, Armin, you're more racist than Charlie, apparently. Guys, this is not racist. This is biology. Let me tell you why Charlie is wrong here. I know you're joking.
Give me one thing that white people.
So William is saying, no, he's not wrong. Well, I mean, guys, I used to be a biology student in university. This is like, it's okay for him to be wrong. It's actually wrong in a sweet way. He's wrong in a sweet way. Like, I'm not against Charlie. It's kind of sweet that he thinks that all different people with different skin colors, their DNA is exactly the same, and shows how anti-racist he is. But let me tell you why he's wrong.
Give me one thing that white people and black people have different biologically.
Don't change the question of this. Like DNA wise, we are different.
No, we're not. That's a lie. It has been disproven. Front page of National Geographic 6 months ago. Racism created by society. If you
I mean, racism, yes, is corrected by society.
look
That's
at
true.
DNA independently in a science laboratory, they cannot distinguish between a black person or a white person if they look at just the DNA, because the only difference is the melanin.
Okay, the only difference is the melanin. Okay, but what determines who has higher melanin? Like, how is it that a black family, when they have a children, all of a sudden their children are not born white? And how is it that a white family, when they have children, their children are not born black? I mean, if it wasn't because of the DNA, then we would have black children in white families and white children in black families. Obviously, it's the DNA that determines who has higher melanin. I mean, it's not an important difference, but it is a difference in the DNA. It's the DNA that determines who has higher melanin. Do you guys agree? Their DNA is different. The DNA of black people and white people is different. It's because it's the DNA that determines who has higher melanin. Somebody's saying that's not how it works. That's exactly how it works. Are you fucking retarded? Like, do you guys not pass biology in school? Somebody's saying, Armin, is melanin based on geography? Evolutionary, yes, but it's now in the DNA. So not anymore, not now. Evolutionary, your geography determines what genes you have, but not in the sense that if I take a black person from Africa and bring them to, I don't know, Canada, to like now their children are going to be white because we changed the geography. No, because we also brought their DNA with them. What are you talking about? Obviously, it's based on their DNA. If it was just geography, then if I move people around, they would change color. Like if I move people, if I move people around, will their children change color? No, because it's in their DNA. So it's geographically, yes, but over time. But geographically, the geography is relevant, but as so far that it will impact your DNA. Your geography impacts your DNA, and then the DNA will impact the features that you have when you are born. This is obvious. Guys, this is like elementary level biology. Anyways. But anyways, I'm not dissing. I'm not trying to be anti-Charlie here. I'm actually showing him being wrong here, because this is kind of cute. Like, it's kind of sweet, because I'm just showing that he cannot be a racist. Like, not only he's not a racist, he thinks that, there's no difference between the DNA of a white person and a black person, which is not true. Somebody's saying you're being a Nazi here. How am I being a Nazi? Am I being a Nazi by saying that the feature of having higher melanin is determined by your DNA? What the fuck? Somebody's saying, oh, so you believe in evolution? Okay. I'm dealing with a whole bunch of crazy people. So let's actually watch this person explain it. Let's be. Okay. Watch this one.
Is this the guy you're calling a racist?
One thing that white people and black people have different biologically.
Don't change the question of this. Like, DNA-wise, we are different.
No, we're not. That's a lie. It has been disproven. Front page of National Geographic 6 months ago. Racism created by society. Race is a social construct that I want to break out of.
Hold up. He doesn't even believe in race. The Oxford English Dictionary defines racism as prejudice based on race, or the belief that some races are inherently superior. But if Charlie's a racist, why is he arguing race doesn't exist? If he's a white supremacist, doesn't he need race to be real? I mean, you can't be a racial supremacist while arguing racial categories are fake. And wait a sec, race has been used to justify oppressing black people for centuries. So why is the black kid defending racial categories while the white supremacist wants to destroy?
Okay, to be fair to that black guy, he was basically just saying there's a difference between the DNA of black people and white people. That defense to that black
destroy them.
student.
This isn't new for Charlie. He's been saying this for years. And guess what? He's right. Here's the history of race. People always noticed skin color, but it mattered about as much as hair color. Slavery exists.
Yeah, I agree that your skin color doesn't matter. So there's a difference between our DNA. But if you want to be against racism, you should be like, well, it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? I mean, I only give a shit. It only matters when it comes to like applying sun lotion, for example. It matters. Okay, so if you're black, you don't need sun lotion. If you're white, you need sun lotion. Okay, so it matters sometimes, but it doesn't matter a lot.
Everywhere, and it was practiced by every skin color long before race was invented. Then, European colonizers needed justification for enslaving Africans. So, in the 1600s and 1700s, they invented racial hierarchy. The most influential framework came from Johann Blumenbach, a German doctor. He created the racial categories we still use today. Then, Georges Cuvier took Blumenbach's categories and ranked them.
Yeah, so the racial categories that we have are not scientific. Okay, it's just basically they're all over the place. They don't make sense. Okay, but that doesn't mean that there's no biological differences between these populations. It's just that the way that they have categorized it historically just makes no sense. Okay, it doesn't. It's arbitrary. It's all over the place. Scientists divide populations within a species with using more accurate and advanced ways. So there is a difference between our populations biologically, but what people usually refer to as a race, that's a very clumsy way of dividing people into different populations.
With white on top and black on the bottom. And racists ran with it. But here's the twist. Blumenbach never intended to create racial hierarchy. He was just trying to organize observable human characteristics, kind of like classifying plants.
Yeah, like based on biological differences. He did, but I mean, he was trying to, based on what he had at his time. It was a good effort, but it's clumsy based on what we have
He
right now.
believed we all have identical intellectual potential. He said differences came from environment and education, not biology, and those differences could evaporate over time. He was a devout Christian.
I mean, honestly, even if we did have different mental capacities based on our population that was basically within our DNA, who gives a shit? We should still have equal, even if I'm not saying that's the case, but even if that was the case, we should still have equal rights.
Who believed we were all made equal. Sound familiar? Charlie Kirk consistently argued against racial categories and got called a racist. Yes, Charlie talked about race sometimes. He knew it was made up, but we live in a racialized culture. To change a culture, you must speak its language, especially when that culture keeps race alive through affirmative action and DEI. But most people never heard him in a long-form interview.
Again, I hate this racialization stuff, but it's true.
too.
They force the racialization card. For the record,
Of course.
I don't look at people in terms of
Okay, Tucker Carlson is not a good guy to talk about this because Tucker is actually a racist against Jews.
skin color, but when they start categorizing me and the young men that show up to my events as toxic because they breathe, you force the race card.
I used to think Charlie was just confrontational with college kids for clicks. Then I listened to his full interviews. I realized he was fighting for hearts and minds in the battleground of ideas, and he was winning. That's why he was killed. And the tragic irony, Charlie believed in race less than many of the people calling him racist. We think we know someone from 60-second clips. We mix news with entertainment and call ourselves informed. We judge strangers from echo chambers. And that's part of the tragedy. Not just that we lost Charlie, that people can't tell the difference between hate speech and speech they hate.
Ooh, that was a mic drop moment. Did you guys pay attention? Holy shit, I'm gonna steal that from this guy, and I'm gonna also promote his account. But did you hear that? Wow, that was a genius quote. Listen
Ourselves
to that.
informed. We judge strangers from echo chambers. And that's part of the tragedy. Not just that we lost Charlie, that people can't tell the difference between hate speech and speech they hate.
People can't tell the difference between hate speech and speech they hate. Yeah, exactly. Saying that was fire. Holy, somebody should. Oh my god. I'm gonna print that out and basically frame it and put it on my background. That is that was fantastic. Who is this guy? Hold on.
Fascist, racist. These words have been so overused, they've lost meaning. And it's causing a breakdown in society. I have a video essay coming out on this soon. Subscribe to my Substack so you don't miss it. Link below.
Guys, I should get on Substack. A lot of these people are promoting their Substack. Is that the guy?
Is this the guy you're calling a racist?
Okay, so you took, who is this guy? You took this guy's video and you didn't give him credit? Okay, let's actually look at here. Clear thing. Okay, his name is on his t-shirt. On his t-shirt. His name is Clear Thinker, and his Substack is also Clear Thinker. And he has 21,000 subscribers on his Substack. Okay, so I try to remember to give credit to the people we are using here. What is this? Oh yeah, let's look at Charlie's views on race a little bit more. I haven't watched this one, but I think I might disagree with Charlie here slightly because he doesn't seem to be thinking that there's any biological differences between them. But let's see. Again, it's so crazy, guys. Can you imagine Charlie who thinks that there's no biological differences between different populations, even though they have different features? There's no biological differences between them. They're calling that guy a racist. Okay, if Charlie is a racist, then I'm a I don't know. I don't know what that makes me because I think there is actual biological differences. Okay, so let's watch them.
So, like, what defines where one race ends and where one race begins?
Depends who you're asking. I think race is completely and totally irrelevant. Do you think race is relevant?
No.
Okay, then why are we talking about race all the time, and why are we talking about critical race theory?
Well, you brought it up at first when you were doing your speech.
Right,
So,
remember I said it was a lie from the pit of hell that we should repudiate and stop talking about all the time? You're on scholarship?
Sorry, what?
Nothing. Sorry, go ahead.
So, to answer your question, I don't think that race means anything, and I guess you don't either, right?
Yeah.
Right. So then, why do you keep bringing up race whenever you?
Okay, so again, not race, what people wrongfully refer to as race matters in some cases. For example, if you're going to a doctor, if you're white, if you are a white old man, there are certain diseases that you are more likely to have. If you are a black woman, there are some other diseases that you're more likely to have. So there are certain situations where it does matter, okay, but most of the time it doesn't matter.
Why do you keep bringing up race whenever you're on or speaking on a stage? I am not speaking on a stage bringing up critical race theory. You are.
No.
So.
I'm bringing up how critical race theory destroys society and how we shouldn't talk about race all the time.
Okay, but you're bringing up race.
No, critical race theory, not race.
Okay, so what's the second word in that?
Yeah, it's race, but it's a theory of how to view race, of which is a mind virus pathogen destroying America, of which I said again, just to reemphasize for those in the back, we could replay the tape, we'd throw the red flag, we'll watch it over again. I said that what? Race means nothing. I care about your actions, your character, and most importantly, your soul. Thank you for being here tonight.
Yeah. All right. So I forgot to read the super chat. Sorry about that. AI in the chat saying, "I'm a human being in Japan." Well, hi. I don't actually think you. Are you sure you're a human being? Because your username says AI. Okay, and there are not that many human beings that start a sentence by saying I'm a human being. So you're the first person in my chat that I'm actually not sure if you're an actual human being, especially given your username is actually your username is suggesting otherwise. Okay, but it's saying I'm a human being in Japan, originally from Canada. Others might call me white. I was a DEI hire in a Japanese company. Oh, interesting. Wait, you're white and you're a DEI hire? How does that work? In Japan, they hire white people. They're giving privileges to white people. That's racist. Okay. Um. Okay, so I didn't know that. Interesting. I didn't know that they have that there. Do they have DEI in Japan? I was a DEI in Japanese company. Okay, interesting. I mean, okay, so here's the thing. When it's DEI for white people, they usually don't call it DEI. When it's DEI for white people, they just call it racism. Okay. When it's for other people, if it's DEI, if DEI is helping black people, Asian people, I don't know, Indians or any other group, they call it DEI. But if you have a policy that is helping white people, they just call it racism. That's actually the double standard there. Yusuf, thank you for the super chat, is saying most killing in the US are intraracial. Yeah, so basically most white people are killed by white people, and most black people are killed by black people. I mean, that's true in every society. And thank you for that. I appreciate that. So let's go to here. Let's see what Charlie is saying here.
Far too long, Black America has been used by the tools as tools by the left as trying to say, keep on voting for us, keep on supporting us. I believe that Black America can be revitalized, can be wealthier, can be richer, can have stronger families. And I refuse to live under the
Racist! Racist, I tell you. He believes that black people could be what? Inferior? Like what? They cannot grow?
far
What did he
too
say
long.
again?
Black America has been used by the tools as tools by the left as trying to say, keep on voting for us, keep on supporting us. I believe that Black America can be revitalized, can be wealthier, can be richer, can have stronger families. And I refuse to live under the bigotry of low expectations that the left constantly uses. If we look at the last 60 years,
Yes, guys, it's the bigotry of low expectations. If you're trying to give certain privileges to a certain group of people, you're basically assuming that they cannot make it on themselves, that they're not qualified, that they're not good at it. So you are being racist because you think they need handouts. You think they need handouts because they cannot do it on themselves. That's the bigotry of lower expectations. Your expectations of them is lower, so that's bigotry.
Expectations that the left constantly uses. If we look at the last 60 years, if we are honest with ourselves, have been detrimental for Black America. Incomes going down. In 1965, 25% of Black.
Yeah, but by the way, some people suggest like Armin. No, look, because of all the things that happened to black people before, we need to help them a little bit more because not because they're not qualified and they're not capable, but because of the historical injustice against them. They need a little bit of a push to be on an equal playing field, or like basically have equal opportunities to other people. And that might sound right, like, okay, Armin, yes, we want equal opportunity, not equal outcome, but to have equal opportunity, we need to give black people an extra help because of all the historical misadvantages that they have had, right? 2.2 responses to that. First of all, it has backfired. Black people were getting like all of this extra help has not been helped. It actually has increased the divide. Black people were progressing. Black people were catching up with white people faster before all of this happened. Two, even if you wanted to help, you shouldn't help based on skin color. If there is any justification for extra help for a certain group of people, it should be based on income level. It should be because it shouldn't be based on black and white. You're going to divide the society if you make it based on black and white. Just see if it was justified to help a certain group of people. Just look at who's poorer and give them more opportunities rather than who's black. And if you say, well, black people are poorer, well, then they will be covered with that policy. They will just be covered with that. And then if there's a rich black person, they would not be covered. But if you say, well, black people are poorer on average, well, the fact that they're poorer, that policy will cover them. Then what the fuck do you have to care about their skin color? Anyway.
Have been detrimental for Black America. Incomes going down. In 1965, 25% of Black Americans had a mother and 75% had a mother and father when they were raised. That is now down to 25%. 3 out of 4 of Black Americans are raised.
See, like he's saying that he's not saying they're innately bad, they're inherently bad. He's talking about a situation where black people were better off, and he's saying our new policies have made them worse off. So the fact that they're worse off, all the family people, all the family problems that black people are having, because guys, a lot of the problems within the black community comes from the fact that they don't have stable families, right? And he's not blaming the black people for it. He's blaming the policies. he's blaming the very policies that were there to help them, because he acknowledges that they were better before. And if they were better before, that means that it wasn't their blackness that made their families unstable. It was the policies. Does that make sense? Let me know if you understand this.
25% of black Americans had a mother and I'm sorry, 75% had a mother and father when they were raised. That is now down to 20.
Yeah, somebody's saying no, Armin, give them more education and infrastructure, not handouts. That's what I think you should do. Okay, if you want to lift up a part of a society that has been left behind, I'm not talking about just giving them handouts. I'm talking about giving them more opportunities with education and infrastructure, like you said. I do agree with that.
Mother and father when they were raised. That is now down to 25%. 3 out of 4 of black Americans are raised without a solid mother and father in the home. If we're serious about saving the country, we must rebuild the family. However, the question is, do people want to be free? Freedom and liberty is very, very difficult. When God's chosen people, the Hebrews, left Egypt and went into the wilderness, after a couple of days, they started complaining. They said, God, and this is in Numbers 14, you could fact check me on this. God, we are tired of eating cucumbers, leeks, and melons. We are tired of eating manna. We want to go back to Egypt, slavery, where at least we were able to eat meat. The question you need to ask yourself is, do people want to be free? I think freedom is a better way of living, but comfortable slavery is very tempting. And we are here to try to break those shackles free and to try to make all Americans live with a better future and more prosperity. Thank you, guys. Let's do some questions at the time I have remaining. We need to rebuild the black family in America, and we need to make it a strong presence. Let me be clear. People that have used and abused the black community in the name of God have committed the most grievous sin against the Lord.
Okay, so obviously this is another indication that he's not anti-black. He wants to basically create strong families. He wants his country to have policies that encourages strong families within the black community. By the way, guys, did you know that addressing the problems within the black community is not you being against the black community? It could actually be an indication of you caring about the black community. Have you considered that? Have you considered that? Anyways, let's watch this one. Who's this guy? Terrence Williams. So he posted this video. I think that's him in the video. So let's watch this.
And I want to give Charlie some credit here, okay? Back in 2019, Charlie Kirk helped a lot of young blacks get to the White House. He changed a lot of their lives. A lot of them never imagined going to the White House, and Charlie helped hundreds of young black boys and girls go to the White House. Charlie, thank you for that.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, man.
So for people who want to call Charlie a racist, kiss my black ass, excuse my language. Charlie Kirk is not a racist.
I love this guy. I'll tell you. And, by the way, I have some New York Times reporters for you to talk to.
I'll talk to them.
No, yeah.
And I want to give Charlie...
All right. So that was kind of... By the way, guys, it's not that this man is very short. Charlie is very tall, I heard. Okay, so, okay. So Charlie is actually very tall. Was very tall. Oh, that's I just remember. Guys, sometimes I forget that he's not with us anymore. That hit the feels. Okay, so watch this one. This is actually kind of cute. Look at this one. Look at the way.
Unfortunately, in the black community, dads are the most absent of any community. About 2/3 of all black youth will be raised without a stable father around. And I know it's crazy, right? And that little precious angel of yours deserves to have a father around.
That little precious angel of yours. That little precious angel of yours. Look how sweet he is. This is such a sweet man.
Unfortunately, in the black community, dads are the most absent of any community. About 2/3 of all black youth will be raised without a stable father around. And
I know it's crazy, right? And that little precious angel of yours deserves to have a father around. You know, for daughters and for sons, it's different things. For a daughter, that's a father figure to look up to say that is how a man should act, and someone that I ought to one day marry, someone that will protect me from a vicious world, and someone that makes me understand what strength and not brutality looks like, what justice but not revenge looks like. To have a father figure is a silent way of forming a child to be a mature citizen. And unfortunately, as we've removed dads from families, government has come in and has taken the place. So some people need help and they need social assistance. All of that should be about incentivizing the dad staying around, not the dad leaving. Unfortunately, with welfare, you can get more money for single mother assistance. And so you agree. We're actually subsidizing single motherhood more than we are subsidizing family formation. The number one objective of any social welfare program should be, how do we keep the family together and put dads back in the family? That is the number one priority.
But he racist though. But he's so racist. Amir is saying if he's a racist, he's the worst racist out there. True. Charlie Kirk sucks. He sucks at being racist, apparently. He was trying so hard and he failed miserably to be a racist. Amazing. Amazing. Wait, what is this one? Oh, this guy was commenting on the same video, I think. Hold on, watch this.
Okay, y'all got me. I found a video of Charlie Kirk spewing hate, and he was being racist towards a black woman. So I got to share it, just like how I share everything else.
How are you? What a beautiful kid that is.
Thank you.
What a gift
so
from God.
much. She truly is. She is the biggest blessing. Something that kind of has me like on the fence of whether or not I go kind of like full
Okay, don't put the music. I'm gonna get a copyright strike.
conservative or moderate. It's just seeing how
Give it up. That is a gift from the Lord, everybody.
What a sweet man.
That was the person y'all said that was racist and hated black people. I don't know about y'all, but you can't turn hate on or off. And a racist person would never call you and your family beautiful. Like, that's who y'all said hated black people. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, the more I go down this rabbit hole, the more I just get like re-pissed off all over again. Cause I just get like the videos of folks celebrating and all of that just come back in my head. And the people who were saying, I'm celebrating because he hated black people. I'm celebrating because he was racist to us. And I come across videos like that and I'm like, huh? Like, and I already know somebody gonna say that was just a clip. You contradicting yourself because this whole time I've been preaching full context. Don't go off clips. And I just went off of a clip.
Yeah, there are some people in my chat that are like saying, Armin, you're just showing clips. You're not giving us the full context. You show me the full context. You show me the full context. I've been watching hours of videos of him. Haven't found a single racist thing. How about you? How about you guys who are calling him a racist? You have only 2 videos. You're taking those videos out of context. One of them is actually not even a video. Where's your videos? You show us the full context. I have so much context. I could stay here with you guys for the next 48 hours showing videos of Charlie demonstrating that he's not a racist. What do you have? What do you have to show me that he was a racist?
Of him showing love to a black woman. But the point is, you cannot turn hate in your heart for somebody or for a group that y'all say on or off. If you hate a group, you're going to stand 10 toes on that. And that man show would have stood 10 toes on something if he actually hated something. But all of a sudden in this situation, he sees this beautiful family of this mom and kid, and he's going to call them beautiful and a gift from God. And you trying to sit here and tell me that he hated black people and trying to tell me that he was racist to black people. All right.
Oh, good. You can see this guy's account here. JSHAW3. Wait, that's not his Twitter? That's not the same person. Okay. So let's actually, guys, I have 2 minutes of Charlie being absolutely racist. How about that? Okay, here's the Charlie being racist. 2 minutes of Charlie being racist. So let's watch that.
Charlie, for the sake of myself, I really do appreciate the ability to debate with you, man.
I want you to think about what I asked you.
Okay, you mind if I have a hat?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Great points. I would say that I am with you for the idea of a colorblind society. I think it's a bit of a farce to say that colorblind society is something we should aspire to, but I think it's a farce to think that it doesn't exist, that race doesn't play a factor.
I totally agree.
Okay.
Yeah, you're black, but it doesn't matter. It's not the most important thing. Instead, it's, are you a good person? How do you act? How do you treat other people? Are you a Christian? Like, what is your worldview? I want to get back to that. Of course, we're still going to see differences, but I.
Okay. I disagree with this. I feel discriminated against as an atheist. Okay. So Charlie was not an anti-black. He wasn't racist, but I feel as an atheist, I feel discriminated against. Right? Like, oh, it doesn't matter if you're black or white, as long as you're a Christian. Okay.
Not the most important thing. Instead, it's, are you a good person? How do you act? How do you treat other people? Are you a Christian? Like, what is your worldview? I want to get back to that. Of course, we're still going to see different.
Yes, I feel, well, nobody's perfect. Okay, so black people and white people are equal, but it's us atheists. It's us atheists. Okay, so
differences, but I want to de-emphasize them to a place where we look at each other as fellow.
No, by the way, I'm just kidding. I'm not actually butthurt. I'm just basically poking fun at
human beings and fellow American citizens. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So this is a point of disagreement that I might have with Charlie. Like, I don't think it matters if you're a Christian or not a Christian, right? So this is a disagreement. But here's the thing. I'm not gonna go and say like, oh my God, that was a joke. I'm not actually saying that I feel discriminated against. I'm not gonna act like a victim. I'm just gonna say that is a point of disagreement that I have with Charlie. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it and make it seem like I've been like victimized and oppressed or something like that. Okay. Like,
hey, can I get a hat from
Absolutely.
my buddy?
Thank you, man.
Oh, exciting.
Thank you, guys.
Thankfully, I was raised away from.
Yeah, Amir saying it's okay. We don't agree on everything. Yeah, we don't have to agree on everything. We don't have to. We're not going to go around and call people racist if we don't agree with them.
Thankfully, I was raised away from all that. 2 loving parents. But.
And that's the greatest thing that you are, one of the, if not the greatest. And that's my hope for every child, black, white, or Asian, to have 2 parents. That is a ticket to success. Please continue. But here's something I will encourage you to do as a Christian. Okay. Care less about people's shared racial experience and look at them instead of just as their soul, as God made them. We should try to strive towards a blinder race nation, not one that talks about skin color all the time.
I agree 100%.
And I think, where's my brother up here? Where's my man? Look at him. You got to come up here. Come up here. Come up here. Come up here. Get over the gate. Come over the gate. Look at this guy here. Look at this. Yeah. Right to the mic.
You stand for me, we good.
Wait, I only stand up for white. Is that a white man? Can you look at him, please? Look at him. Is that a white man? Is that a white man? You said I only stand up for white men. He's got dreads. Instead of just looking at everything in the past that's wrong and bad through a victim lens. Say, you know what?
It's still going on. Okay.
One sec. Say, you know what? I'm an American, and I'm going to use my mental energy to say, despite all of that, I get to succeed and flourish and prosper as a black American at the University of Tennessee. You are a living embodiment, Gigi, that you can still succeed as a black individual.
Okay.
Because I look at you not as a black guy, but as a human being made in the image of God, and I want to know what you bring to the table. Are you good at the job?
Okay. So that was just him being absolutely racist for a straight 2 minutes. That was absolutely vile and disgusting. We all hated it. Okay. But let's watch. I'm joking, by the way, guys. I hope you guys. I mean, I don't know if I have to clarify because some people here seem to need clarification. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't, because I see people calling me Nazi or arguing for eugenics and stuff like that. So maybe every time I'm joking, I need to mention that I'm joking in case, because some of the IQ levels here in the chat is not very high. Anyways, this is I posted this one, by the way, myself. So let's watch this one. This is a good one.
You call me a white supremacist. What evidence do you have that I'm a racist?
Guys, this is Charlie. I feel like he's speaking to everyone now. Like everybody is now, like so many people are calling him a white supremacist. Where's your evidence? So look, even when he was alive, people were calling him a white supremacist, and he demanded evidence. Where's the evidence?
You call me a white supremacist. What evidence do you have that I'm a racist?
I was just literally watching a video of you talking about whiteness as a whole, talking about whiteness as a concept, okay? And you were trying to explain how white privilege doesn't exist.
Correct, it doesn't.
You are a white man. How do you know?
What can a white person do that a black person can't do?
So that's crazy, because when you say you are a white man, how could you know? That means that it's not about stats, it's not about evidence, it's not about peer-reviewed academic research, it's about lived experience. And if you are a white, you do not have the lived experience to know, to have this information. That's an insane way to come to conclusions. Like, oh, you're a white man, how could you know? There's studies, there's stats. Why does my skin color make me blind to certain information that everyone else has access to? These are people who, anybody who says that lived experience is the way to come up with conclusions, they're basically saying do not trust scientific research or scientifically collected data. That's what they're suggesting. You are a white man, how could you know?
Person do that a black person can't do.
Black applicants to jobs are 50% less likely to get jobs with they have a black sounding name.
That's not even close to being true. That's not even close to being true.
That is a literal.
In fact, it's the opposite.
I'm not going to argue your lived.
Okay, so there's a black man from the crowd is saying, there's a black man in the crowd saying, are you going to deny my lived experience? So let's go by his standard, okay?
I'm not going to argue your lived experience. I'm not going to, no.
See, now you have to listen to him under your rules, because a black person is going to say you're wrong.
I am. He can say I'm wrong. I know.
Come on up to the mic.
I know. I read your.
My name's Keemon Dixon. I have a really black name. Please tell me how 50% of my internships have been denied when I've worked for Senator Mike Lee, Mayor Trent Sachs, Speaker Mike Schultz.
Hold on.
I worked for a Congressman, Burgess Owens. I've actually worked on his campaign. I've worked on the campaigns of John Huntsman Jr. Please tell me how my black experience and my black name has not given me. Go ahead.
So
that was it. And guys, you might say like, okay, Armin, what that black person said is not statistics. It doesn't matter, because based on his standard, you have to go based on lived experience. So he just to give you his experience. So shut the fuck up. Based on your standards, you should agree with what you just said. Fantastic. That was a great takedown. And let's watch this one. So this is how racist Charlie Kirk was not. So let's watch this.
Would you say that black-only dormitories is wrong?
It certainly creates a sense of community. I don't see any problem with that.
Are there differences between races?
No, not biologically.
Then why would we have different dormitories for races?
Culture.
Segregation is what you're arguing for, my friend.
No, sir.
How is it not segregation to have blacks in their own dorm? Ibram X. Kendi argues, who is one of the leading thinkers of critical theory, discrimination today to atone for discrimination of yesterday. We have black-only graduation ceremonies at Columbia University, black-only dormitories.
I'm pausing because of the music is going to give me a copyright strike.
At Columbia University, black-only dormitories across the country, for example, at Western Washington University. Can you?
You guys don't need to put music. His words are powerful enough.
Join me today in saying black-only dormitories are evil, wrong, and it's segregation. Would you support white-only dormitories?
Everybody has.
Okay, and again, nope.
So I think white-only and black-only anything is evil and wrong. That's why I hate critical theory and critical race theory, because when it's put in practice, you start to discriminate people based on race. So we're now south of the Mason-Dixon line in North
Look, this is an anti-racist
Carolina. We did a lot of work to get rid of segregation in this country. Why are you trying to bring it back?
What work?
The Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Look, he's for the Civil Rights Act. Look, in this case, when it comes to segregation, he likes the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah, actually, in this state. Are there black-only bathrooms out there I'm unaware of, or white-only bathrooms?
Nah.
Right. A lot of work was done in the state.
See, he appreciates the work that has been done to remove segregation.
A lot of work was done in the state.
Fuck you, your face is small.
Well, thanks for being.
Wait, what the hell? I didn't actually see this video. Did he just say "fuck you"? Your face is small.
White-only bathrooms?
Nah.
Right. A lot of work was done in the state.
Fuck you, your face is small.
Well, thanks for being here. They always go to insults when they lose the argument. God bless you, my friend.
Well, guys, that was basically just what the fuck. That was basically a good representation of the people who disagree with me in the chat right now. What the fuck? That was weird. That was absolutely weird. Okay, let me actually show you one of the most powerful videos I've seen from Charlie. This is absolutely beautiful. This one. Look how guys, so we saw how Charlie treats black people. Let's see how Charlie treats racists. Actual racists. Okay? I shouldn't actually say they're racist because we say that when somebody is not actually a racist. So this one, I shouldn't do it. I should say a racist. It's a fucking racist. So let's watch this guy.
I want to ask a question of you. What does it mean to be an American? Is it an idea or a history, a shared history, or is it a skin color?
Well, I mean, you could go back to the original founding fathers, the Immigration Act.
All right, so this guy, but let me actually give you the context. This guy thinks that America is for white people. This guy. And Charlie is trying to challenge him on that view. Okay? So he thinks this is a man who thinks America should be a white country.
I want to ask a question of you. What does it mean to be an American? Is it an idea or a history, a shared history, or is it a skin color?
Well, I mean, you could go back to the original founding fathers, the Immigration Act of, I believe it was.
What does it mean to be an American? Is it a skin color or something else?
So there's the current idea of what it means according to, the Hart-Celler Immigration Act and, all this bullshit that you guys spew. But if you go back to the original founding fathers, they intended this to be a European nation for white men of good stock and character.
So can you show me, let me answer the question. Can you show me where in the United States Constitution it says that?
It wasn't in the Constitution.
It wasn't in the Constitution because they didn't believe it.
The founding...
You, sir, they did not put it in the United States Constitution. Let me answer another question. Let me ask you another question since you support. Allow him to have the mic. Let me ask you another question,
Founding
sir.
fathers wrote many
What
other
does the
documents
phrase,
other than the United
sir,
States Constitution, and they made it
sir,
explicitly clear. That
what
they
does the
believe-
phrase "e pluribus unum" mean? What does
Why
the
is that
phrase
relevant?
"e pluribus unum" mean?
Why is that relevant?
Because it was on every founding
No, the
document
founding
and
fathers
presidential
wrote
seal
a
from our
litany of
founding,
documents
which means
stating
out
they
of
believe
many,
this country should
one.
be a
You, sir,
European nation.
and your ideology is not conservative. It is right-wing, identitarian, and has no place in the conservative movement, my friend. Get out of line. Get out of line. USA, 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 USA.
Was this not the most powerful anti-racist shit you've ever seen? I've never seen anybody be more anti-racist than Charlie. This was fucking glorious. Look at this man. Is it not shameful accusing this man of racism? You guys are evil. Have you no shame? The fight that this man had against racism was more than anything all of you have done combined against racism. This man was fighting racism, you motherfuckers. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say to you guys. Let's for people who are talking about me showing short videos, do you guys want to watch a longer run? Because Charlie Kirk here responds to the myth of systemic racism here. This is actually a very interesting video. Let's watch this one. Do you guys want to watch this one? I want to watch this one.
Hello. Oh. Be respectful, guys. He can do what he wants.
Oh, can I start now? Oh. Nice to meet you, Charlie. I'm a big fan. I think you're a very beautiful man. I admire you physically.
What?
But no homo. No homo. No homo. I did.
Somebody's saying stop cherry picking. Well, show me where he's. I'm not cherry picking because I have looked everywhere for where Charlie was racist, and I found the two places where people say he's racist, and I showed them at the beginning of the stream. If I missed the place that Charlie has been racist, then tell me. Then tell me, where has he been racist? The two accusations against him is that he was against the Civil Rights Act and that he said black women have lower brain processing power. I've already shown what Charlie said at the beginning of the stream. If you have any other accusations, what is it? I've looked everywhere. There is nothing else.
I did have a question. Something I don't find very interesting about you, something I find kind of repulsive, is that I believe you said that the Civil Rights Act was bad and that we shouldn't have that.
Okay. Well,
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't like you as much as Charlie, though.
First of all, what's your name?
Sorry. I don't want to be like filmed and stuff.
Too late.
I'm anonymous, number one. Anonymous guy.
Okay. Well, hello. Nice to meet you, anonymous guy.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you, too.
Yeah. I believe in part of the essence of the Civil Rights Act went way too far, way too wide.
Oh, how did it go too far?
Well, for example, it created an entire civil rights leviathan that gave.
Wait, so he said.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, too.
Yeah. I believe in part of the essence of the Civil Rights Act went too.
I believe in parts of the essence of the Civil Rights Act, as he mentioned many times, but people don't want to listen. He agreed with the goals. He agreed with the intention. He just thinks that the Civil Rights Act was too broad. He doesn't want to get rid of the Civil Rights Act. He would just want to have a Civil Rights Act that is more simple and is against discrimination, and it's about equal opportunities rather than equal outcome. Again, if you haven't been here before, if you haven't been at the beginning of the stream, I just summarized it for you guys. I got 2 super chats. I will respond to those, but let's go for
Way too far, way too wide.
Oh, how did it go too far?
Well, for example, it created an entire civil rights leviathan that gave us affirmative action.
Civil rights leviathan? What do you mean?
Yeah, so if you can let me finish three words
oh,
in.
sorry.
It allowed the Department of Justice to go after people that have different skin color, aka white people, and prevent them from getting jobs in college admissions.
You have a job.
I'm sorry?
You have a job.
No, you're right. I do. Right. But just until Trump came around, until the Supreme Court decision, thanks to the Civil Rights Act, if you have white skin color, it's much harder to get into a college than if someone has black skin color. Much harder. You have to get higher test scores. It's a much harder pool, largely thanks to the precedent set by the Civil Rights Act. Not to mention all the trans stuff that we're seeing. We're seeing men be able to win trophies and medals from women across the country, and they use the Civil Rights Act to justify it.
Okay, I think I see where you're coming from. So you think that it's harder for white people?
So Kathleen in the chat is saying, Armin, quit being an apologist for a bigot. This is so gross. So Caitlin, if after everything I've shown you, you still think that this man is a bigot, then you're absolutely insane. Like, you are retarded. You're one of those people that Charlie was referring to when it comes to not having enough brain processing power. I'm not even talking to you because I don't think you are at the level to be able to understand me anymore. Like, after everything I've shown you, if you still think he's a bigot, then you are beyond hope. And I'm just saying this to just make fun of you, because there's no point talking to people at your level. Like, at your level of IQ and understanding, you're not even worth talking to. Like, after everything I've shown you, you still think he's a bigot? Then you're insane.
Because of black people, they can have lower tech scores. I get it.
It's not what I think. It's the fact.
That's what you're saying. Okay. All right. Well, I guess what I would say too, I think perhaps you're familiar with the term equity, right? Where different people have different circumstances.
It's
which leads them to
Marxism.
different outcomes.
I reject.
Okay. Well, whether you reject it or not, I think it's a prescient concept in this argument, because what you have to understand is that when for example, you're born in like a black neighborhood, you're born in like O Block or something, like a very like a. Oh, you don't know what O Block is? Oh, Well, if you're born there, if you're born in a very poor area like that, with like very low economic opportunity, very poor schools with very low ratings, where the average test score is much lower, when you're in that environment, you have the whole system up against you, right? So when you say in that kind of circumstance, when you're facing the whole, I guess, leviathan of systemic racism,
So-
would you say that's sorry, let me just
No, no,
finish it. When you say it's fair to, for example, lower the standard because knowing that their circumstances were like that, perhaps based on what they had was presented to them, they had the correct amount of merit to get into a school.
Okay, so are you a student here? I'm guessing you are.
Oh yeah, I'm a student here.
Are you a pretty good student?
Oh yeah, I would say I'm a good student. I have a pretty high GPA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give your GPA to her because she's a woman of color, please?
Oh, well, you want me to give you a? I mean, I can.
Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
You'd be good. You cool with that?
Yeah,
So,
I'm fine. Wait, you mean
I
like,
want you.
like tell her or like
no,
give it to her?
by force.
Like
so
we're swapping it.
Let me tell you what I'm going to do.
Okay.
By force, white man.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to take your GPA. I'm going to give it to a woman of color.
Okay.
You're cool with that?
I mean, yeah, I can just work back up. Like,
there's no working
Hey,
back
bro,
up.
I can pull myself up by my bootstraps.
No,
What do
there's
you
no
mean?
working back up.
What do you mean you can't work back
you're
up? That's the
only-
whole point of
No,
conservatism, isn't
I'm
it?
going to keep on taking it from you because that's equity, and you're cool with that.
What?
'Cause
But that's not
this is equity in practice.
Equity isn't taking. Equity is giving, applying the equal standard.
If you give, how do you get? You must take, and then you give.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like that's what leftists don't understand. Like, oh, let's just give them. How are you just going to give them? For you to give them something, something has to be taken from somebody. The only way to give without taking is through production, through the markets, through trade, through capitalism. If you have policies that forces society to give certain things to certain people, it can only happen by taking away from others.
That which is given must first be taken.
Well, what's being taken?
Well, in this case, grades from you to grades
But
to her.
that's no one's taking my grades though. That's not what affirmative
it's
action
called,
is.
well, hold on a second.
It is. If you give somebody a seat, that's a seat that somebody else would have been sitting in if it didn't go to them. How does he have high GPAs? Are these people? How do these people like not get this? This is simple stuff.
No one takes your grades.
Hold on a second. If you
Yeah,
only have
yeah,
so many,
oh.
you only have so many positions at University of South Florida to come in, right? There's a set number. Let's say it's 20,000 people, okay? And we're going to say we're going to lower the test standards so that somebody that's a woman of color can come in, and therefore it's harder for you. So it's a higher bar for you, lower bar for them. Definitionally, that's a redistribution of test scores to somebody else, just by the definition. And you're okay with that?
Well, I guess I would ask then, if we were to do what you're doing, I guess that's what's happening under Trump, right?
Well, no, it's actually been happening the last 40 years.
Okay, actually.
Well, like he's changing the topic. Address what Charlie said right now.
Whatever. Okay, so when you say that, if you do,
Nail Bunny is saying, Armin, his major is probably gender studies. Yeah, maybe.
that, then well, black people aren't going to get into school, and then they won't be able to uplift themselves. They won't be able to have prosperous families. They won't be able to.
Do these people think that if you want to give like certain privileges to black people, it's like nothing will happen to anyone else, and we will just generate more outcome for certain people who need it? This is why they think that we're evil, because they think like, oh, we're saying let's help these people, and we're saying, well, let's not. So like, oh my God, Armin, you're so evil. Why are we not just helping people? Isn't it a kind thing to just give things to people who want it? Like that's the reason why they think we're evil, because they think that you just give things to people and it just comes out of thin air. Like it just like leftists think that if helping people just happens magically and nothing is taken away from anyone else, and that's why they think we're evil, because we're against this magical concept of helping people without any cost.
Equalize the economic status, because you need to give them a little jump start. You know what? You have a car, right?
How is that? How is that? Well, no, now I know who you are.
No, it's good.
But no, how has that worked the last 40 years? We've had robust affirmative action.
No.
We've had hiring practices. Has it made Black America more successful?
Oh, yep, it hasn't. It hasn't. It has become, the situation has become
can answer
worse.
that easily.
Guys, before affirmative action, black people were catching up to white people faster.
Affirmative action. We've had hiring practices. Has it made Black America more successful?
I can answer that easily. It's because sorry. It's because sorry. What am I going for?
I don't know.
You're a funny guy. So what happened is even after the Civil Rights Act, you know what? I believe the term is massive resistance. It was a movement in after the Broad versus Board of Education in Virginia, where essentially the legislature, which was still white supremacist, which is still extremely racist, they decided that no, we're going to do everything that feasibly possible within our means to stop black people from going to white schools. You even see this in I believe it was the Little Rock Nine, right? Even after it was legalized at the state level, white supremacist
Got it.
mobs still mobilized to prevent it. So even if it de facto it's gone, de
let me
jure
a-
it still exists.
Let me
Or
ask you a
there's the
very
other way
simple
around.
question.
Yeah, yeah.
A
Oh,
term
sure.
you keep on throwing around.
Got you.
What is racism?
What is racism? Ooh, that's a very complicated question. But
no, it's not.
I mean, there's a
Racism is just the belief that some races are superior to other one, and that they deserve, because they're superior, they deserve more because of their superiority.
simple answer, and then there's the highly theoretical answer.
Give me the
simple. The simple answer will essentially be because we have like different skin colors, that he's treated a different way than me. He has like a different upbringing than me.
No. But what is
He's subjected to
racism
different
in practice?
It's discrimination
Based on the color of skin.
Based on the color of the skin. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. So isn't it racist then to penalize white people to come into college or to get jobs based on the color of their skin?
Well, no.
Wouldn't that be racist?
So
you're arguing for a very racist policy.
Okay, so let's adjust the definition of racism. Racism is apparently, according to them, is treating people differently based on the color of their skin, unless they're white. Unless they're white. If they're white, then it's not racist.
Is that we should actively discriminate against people based on the color of their skin, which is affirmative action and DEI in practice.
Yeah, that's basically affirmative action. That's DEI.
I just disagree with the premise that you can do like anti-white racism because.
Okay, so he just contradicted his own definition. He said racism is basically discriminating against people again based on their color of their skin, and now he's saying, "Well, I don't think you could actually discriminate against people like what?" He said you can't unless they're white.
I just disagree with the premise that you can do like anti-white racism because.
Okay, so it doesn't count when you're white.
Because
wait, can you be racist against white people?
No, bro, I'm a cracker, bro. What the? No, you can't be racist towards white. Bro, there's so many crackers here, bro.
What?
There's your clip, bro. There's your clip. Well, what are you gonna do political violence to me, bro? Like, why are you saying that to me? You're making me scared. Okay.
So let me tell you what we believe, because you tell us what you believe.
Okay.
Your worldview is indistinguishable from the KKK. That you want to organize the world based on skin color. We want to organize the world based on merit and character, based on how hard.
Somebody in the chat is saying, "Are men so saying African men are faster runners is racist?" No, I was careful to make it very clear. I said that if you think that they're superior and that's why they need to be treated better because of it, right? So that would be racism. So if you, so you misheard. You didn't listen to my full definition.
You work, what you bring to organize the world based on merit and character, based on how hard you work, what you bring to the table. I believe it's destructive and wrong to say that people are going to be organized or have their future set based on the color of their skin. I think it's tribalistic. I think it is divisive, and I think it hurts the excellence of a country. You asked a question, well, how are we going to help other communities? You know how you help other communities? Stop pandering to them and start treating them like individuals made in the image of God, not tribes to be organized for political purposes.
Okay, so do you think like when Trump is now he's president, now that racism is gone now because Trump is back, we're no longer pandering, right? Do you think that the conditions of black people do you think O Block is going to become like a much nicer place? Do you think that these very downturned sort of black neighborhoods that have been sort of left behind, do you think they're going to become revitalized now? Is that what you think is going to happen?
Yeah, they'll do better for sure.
You think they're going to do better? Now that we've stopped helping them, they're going to do better.
So you're not helping. He's like, oh, now that we're stopped helping them, they're going to do better because of this. Look, but he doesn't understand. This is not helping. You're not helping.
Well, see, that's an interesting thing.
Because that seems like contradictory to me, just on basic logic.
Well, actually, black Americans under Donald Trump in the first term saw the greatest economic renaissance that they saw since the 1950s.
You don't think
highest
that's due to
wage
Obama,
increases, lowest unemployment, revitalization, amazing investment in their communities, opportunity zones.
But that's when we had affirmative action. So wouldn't that be bad?
Well, again, we actually got rid of affirmative action now.
But
It's
that
going to do
was
even better.
now, but I'm talking
those
about
are,
before,
Those
like
are
before.
unrelated things, though. Just
You
to
know,
be
you think
perfectly
they
clear.
don't seem unrelated to me.
Well,
They're both
affirmative action
policies
is
addressing racism. They seem
affirmative
pretty
action
related.
is
So the effect of affirmative action, you actually need to look at it more long term rather than 4-year increments.
again.
So I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, you are.
Oh,
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Affirmative action is largely federal government hiring practices and the adjacent institutions. I think that all communities will do even better when we stop living under the soft bigotry of low expectations. Inherent in your argument is that we.
Yeah, also, if you are basically giving handouts, you're making that group of people dependent on the handouts. So you're actually reducing their opportunity to
You
grow.
have to pander to certain communities based on the color of their skin because they can't do as well as white people. I reject the premise. I think that we should try to say, I don't care about the color of your skin. I care about what you bring to the table. And stop pandering to people based on special criteria, points, and acceptance to college, saying that we're going to make it easier for one group and harder for another group.
I don't think it's
So,
pandering, though. I think it's understanding.
Okay,
I think
but
it's
let me.
understanding
Do
the
you think
respective
that
circumstances and working based on that?
Do you think that we should have black-only dormitories in America?
No, why would I want that?
Okay, well, there's hundreds of schools that have those actually.
What
And
do you
so-
mean black only? Like
Yeah.
they're not white people are not allowed in.
No,
at
white
all.
people are not allowed.
White people, yeah, that's why I said white people are not allowed in.
Correct. We have black-only graduation ceremonies across the country.
Well,
This
those are
is-
from well, I believe those are most likely like HBCUs, right?
No,
like
the University of Michigan
This
has
is-
one,
has an
Yale
all-black
has
dormitory?
one, Harvard has one. So we're agreeing that is wrong. That is the first.
That's insane that in America. So this is the problem with the Civil Rights Act. Like the Civil Rights Act is supposed to say like, yeah, you cannot have any institution anywhere in America that says you cannot enter here because of the color of your skin. Okay, and the Civil Rights Act does not stop that. The Civil Rights Act in the United States right now says that no institution cannot have the rule that says that only white people are allowed in this establishment, in this place. That would be illegal. But if you have any institution that says this is only black or no white people are allowed, that's allowed. That's insane that that's allowed. So yeah, we need a better Civil Rights Act. Blacks only, like, oh, blacks only are allowed here. Like, what the fuck? So you're like, you cannot, whether or not you can enter or not is determined by the color of your skin. How is that a thing?
Furthest extent.
How is that not backwards? How is that like? Why the fuck do we even care?
Right?
No,
Like
the University of Michigan
This
has
is
one,
as an
Yale
all-black
has
dormitory?
one, Harvard has one. So we're agreeing that is wrong. That is the furthest extension of hyper race obsession. So you could choose one or the other. You can be race obsessed or merit obsessed. We as conservatives decide to be merit obsessed, to build a country based on how hard you work and what you're able to deliver.
Merit obsessed. I like that. Merit obsessed. Anyways, let me look at the chat. So guys, I stayed longer I stayed for 2.5 hours because we reached our goal. Let me know, are there any people who are did the angry people leave? I can respond to any questions that you guys and the people who think race, because guys, this stream, the point of this stream was to show to you guys that Charlie was not racist, and I have managed to convince some people in the chat that not only Charlie is racist, but I'm also racist. Okay. Look at that. Still here, sadly. Yeah, okay. So tell me how I'm racist. Some idiots in the chat. Let me see. So Nutsit is saying Armin was too cowardly to view my evidence as predicted. Okay, so this is not a very smart individual because he could see that I was doing the stream and I was mostly looking at the videos. And if I didn't see what you're saying, it's because there's a whole bunch of other people who I didn't see as well. But obviously, it seems like your IQ is room temperature level, who doesn't seem to understand and I cannot see everything in the chat at the same time. But yeah, so I think you're not worth talking to because you're absolutely you're not smart enough to talk to. Jack is saying, Armin, I asked AI, it said black only dormitories don't exist, whites aren't forbidden, it's just focuses on Black culture. Copilot said this. Thoughts? Well, I don't know about Copilot. I know I have seen that there are. It says culture. Copilot is. Be careful if it's too PC. Let me see. I could check myself with ChatGPT. Okay. Are there Black only dormitories in some universities in United States? So, and again, I'll turn on the thinking mini so that it thinks about it a little bit instead of just doing a search for me. So because I did thinking mini, it's thinking about it a little bit, and I'll let you know as soon as it responds. Somebody saying he won't, he's a coward. I just did. I just responded to somebody who's smarter than you, who's challenging me. Okay, so this is what I'm getting. Short answer, yes, but not in the way of officially segregated dorms sound. Many U.S. colleges offer Black affinity or Black living learning housing, floors, or theme communities intended to support and celebrate Black students. These are often called Black affinity housing, Black living learning community, or similar. And they exist at places like Western Washington University, the University of Washington, UC San Diego, and others. Okay, so yeah, maybe it's not as bad as segregation was before, but so I agree with that. But would you agree, Jack, that it would sound insane if we had whatever this is right now, as if we had a white version of it, it would be insane. Would you agree with that? Like, for example, if we had white living learning housing, white affinity, whatever. Like, so yeah, so when we had segregation back in the day in the United States, that was really maybe much worse situation than this. Okay, so Jack is saying yes, I would agree. But yeah, to be fair, if we whatever it is right now, if we had a white version of that, that would be insanity. So if that is insanity, this should also be considered insanity. Imagine white living learning. I mean, just the names. Why is it like even I feel like that sounds more racist? You see how biased the society is. Like when I read this Black living learning housing, I didn't feel racism. But even in my mind, when I say white living, like if just that name just sounds racist. Like you see how society has impacted my mind. The word, if I replace the word Black with white, even to me it sounds racist. Like I've been conditioned by society to associate whiteness with racism. Shit, like I'm a racist. I'm like I have some internal racism against white people. I've been conditioned by society. Like I'm noticing that I have some anti-white racism that is still within me because of conditioning by society. Because I don't get this knee jerk, like when I read this thing in front of me with the word Black, I don't get a disgust feeling. But if I put the word whites there, all of a sudden I feel like this is ew. Like ew. Like why do I feel the ew factor with white but not the ew factor with Black? So like I'm noticing that there are still some racism in me, you know? Like racism against somebody saying, yes, yes, you are. No, you fucking idiot. I'm talking about against white people. You think I'm admitting what you think I'm admitting? I'm not. It's conditioning by society. Like it needs work to get rid of. Somebody sketch therapist saying lying sack of shit. It is segregation. The chat has lying sacks of shit. Okay. Lying to you, Armin. Okay, so I don't think they're saying. I don't think I don't know who you're referring to, but Jack is not saying this is not segregation. He was just telling me what uh, AI told him. He was just reading what AI told him. He wasn't making that claim himself. So I basically took what he said AI told him and compared it to what my AI is telling me. That's what we're doing. But he was just wondering how I would respond to it. He's not lying to me. And he agreed with me. Jack agreed with me when I said that that's disgusting anyways, no matter what level of segregation we're dealing with. He agreed that that's disgusting. So he agrees with us, sketch therapy. You don't need to get upset over. I don't know. Maybe you're referring to someone else. Yeah, Jack is saying yes. He agrees with us. Oh, you didn't. You don't mean him. Okay, you mean the other guy. Okay. Sketch therapy was not referring to Jack. Okay. All right, guys. Anything else? What are the people who want to call me like? So the people who call me racist, like, are you guys gonna give me any reason for why I'm a racist? Oh, so Torah is saying to if you could come to our Discord and talk to us. Torah, can you put the link to our Discord again? Again, the link to our Discord is also in the description. So some of the people here hang around there and talk. So go. Torah will be there, and I will do more Torah. I'm gonna come up with a better way to promote our Discord so more people. Yeah, Torah just put it in the chat as well one more time. Thank you, Torah. Here, Torah. And then again, the link is in our description as well. So go and talk to the other people here. Thank you for promoting our Discord. And again, I will also promote it more often. All right, so Israel needs somebody saying Israel needs DEI. There's too many Jews living there, too many Arabs living in Saudi Arabia, too many Japanese living in Japan. What the fuck, man? Who cares? These people, like, why do you even count people based on their ethnicity? How about we just deal with people as they are? Oh, it's sarcasm. Sorry. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Sorry. That was obvious. That I should have. Okay. So if it's don't blame me. Okay. So he's saying that's a joke. That's a joke, Armin. Okay. But Tema, don't blame me for not recognizing sarcasm. You could see the level of insanity in the chat. Okay, the level, like what people say in the chat. So, would you blame me for me thinking that somebody is actually advocating for that? Like, given what the other insane things that people have been saying here. Yeah, like, yeah, please put the /s there if you're being. Yeah, okay. So Tema is saying, yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I cannot tell, guys. I cannot tell who's being serious anymore, given the level of lunacy we're dealing here. Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna head out. So this was the most complete takedown of the bullshit claiming that Charlie Kirk was a racist. Like, from the beginning to end, everything I showed you, do you guys agree? Like, you are not going to find any more complete, live stream or video anywhere on YouTube that basically absolutely destroys this claim. Okay. So I'm really proud of what I just did here. And I would be grateful if you guys like and share the stream so that more people end up seeing it. Okay. Because I don't think you're going to find any more complete. Like, I brought you so much. Yeah, it was Flying Robot Duck saying it was pretty complete. PJ saying thank you, Armin. Carl saying very well researched. Well, thank you. Yeah, Torah saying M. Israel. Hi, Javid Shah. Thank you. Good job, Armin. Oh, thank you. Sketch Therapy, you're so late. Okay, go watch from the beginning because I did a really good job. Amir is saying the best channel for Middle East geopolitics and religion analysis. Well, thank you. Thank you, Atheist Republic. Oh, thank you for always saying that about Atheist Republic. All right, guys, I really do appreciate if you guys reward me with a simple like. I know a lot of people give super chats today, but there's also a free way to support our channel. And again, I appreciate all the super chats, but for everyone else, you could support this channel with the low cost of $0.00, which is a like. Okay, just like the stream. It will help us grow the channel, and it doesn't cost you anything. All right, and yeah, and share and comment. Okay, and all of those other things. And yeah, I'm gonna head out. So guys, say with me in the chat. I'm Israel Chai, Javid Shah. Mwah. See you guys tomorrow, same time.